lucky or not, lucky or not. For games, are we too grown to play around? Young enough to chase, but old enough to know better.
Are we too grown to change? Are we too grown to mess around? Ooh, and I can't wait forever, baby. Both of us should know better.
Ooh, 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 been wishing for you. Ooh, ooh, trying to do what lovers do. Ooh. So let me redefine you, and you can see the tide move, just like tears in the eyes do. And when you're feeling oh baby, I'll be right here, between the sea and silence. So breathe easy, my dear, you can find sunshine in the rain. I will come running when you call my name. Even a broken heart can beat again. Forget about the one who caused you pain. I swear I'll love you in a different way. I know the love is so unforgiving. You've been a victim too many times, and I'll be the thread, hold you together. I'll be forever. Will you be mine? So let me redefine you, and you can see the tide move, just like tears in the eyes do. And when you're feeling oh baby, I'll be right here, between the sea and silence. So breathe easy, my dear, you can find sunshine in the rain. I will come running when you call my name. Even a broken heart can beat again. Forget about the one who caused you pain. I swear I'll love you in a different way. Hey, hey, I swear I'll love you in a different way. Hey, hey, I swear I'll love you in a different way.
It's time to stand up and cheer, and welcome to the ice for their pre-game warm-ups. Here's your Team USA.
Slow me down. The nana make a Mac
sticker. Better make it smile when you see that
And
big pull-up.
Team
Money
Canada.
don't make me happy, and a fella can't make me fancy. We smiling for a whole nother reason. It's all smiles through all 4 seasons. Shining, 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 yeah. Shining, yeah. All of this winning, I've been losing my mind. Losing my mind. Hold on, don't try to slow me down. Hold on, don't try to slow me down. Yeah, I dropped the top out the coupe. They try to get at me, ooh. They say I'm sweet just like you. Yeah. Say
Y'all can call me Styles Davis, the way I'm styling on them, you dig? Oh man, I'm starting a lot. Everybody sweating me like I'm running the block. Let myself back in like I'm picking the lock. You better buy my stock, cause this is only the start. Woo! Going down and I look like a hawk. Wanna rock with me, this ain't a walk in the park. Y'all brush you right off like you wrote it in chalk. I only sing dope songs, I don't even talk. So, driving down the block, feeling like a boss. I'm on one. John in the shades, ticket tape parade. Here I come now. When I touch down, red cover come out. Right to the limousine. Hey man, we just messing around. Where'd you get your play haters degrade? Huh? Don't you stop that shine. Don't be mad that I'm styling on ya. Come on man, I tried to warn ya. Pop your collar up and bop with the strut. It's style on 'em. Get wild on 'em. Put shades on and play on. It's style on 'em. Get wild on 'em. Hold up, wait up.
gotta keep them separated.
Like the latest fashion, like the spreading disease. The kids are strapping on the way to the classroom, getting weapons with the greatest of ease. They can't say gather all, gather slow down. They have to catch us slapping and it's all of a pound. And one guy's got us and the others told me they're gonna bash it up, bash it up, bash it up, bash it up. Hey, a man, you're talking back to me. Check him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, the man, you're disrespecting me. Take him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, don't pay no mind. We're under 18 and won't be doing any time. Hey, come out and play. By the time you hear the siren, it's already too late. One goes to the morgue and the other to jail. One guy's wasted and the other's a waste. It goes out of sight of 1,000 before. No one's getting smarter, no one's running the score. Yeah, never ending spree of death and violence and hate. It's gonna tie your own rope, tie your own rope, tie your own. Hey, man, you're disrespecting me. Take him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, man, you're talking back to me. Take him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, pay no mind. You're under 18, you won't be doing any time. Hey, come out and play. It goes out the same as 1,000 before. No one's getting smarter, no one's running the score. You're never ending spree of death and violence and hate. It's gonna tie your own rope, tie your own rope, tie your own. Hey, man, you're talking back to me. Drink him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, man, you're disrespecting me. Drink him out.
Gotta keep them separated.
Hey, pay no mind. You're under 18, you won't be doing any time. Hey, come out and play.
And now let's send it over to the bench with Greg Wolf, with the captain, Megan Duggan.
Thank you so much, guys, and welcome to Amalie Arena. Our championship game is just minutes away here for the Four Nations Cup, and we are here with your captain of Team USA, Megan Duggan, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Megan, it's been a long week up in Wesley Chapel. You've obviously taken on Sweden and Finland and the ladies of Canada, who you have had success against so far. What do you guys have to do to get off to a good start today?
Well, I just think for us in any game, it's about focusing on our strengths. Regardless of opponent, I think we want to dictate the play and stick to our plan. And you know, we've been successful here now in the tournament doing that, so it's the same thing we're going to do.
Now, you guys have been training hard here in the Tampa Bay area for the Olympic Games. What's been your favorite part so far here training in Tampa?
The weather, I have to say, yeah. No, the sunshine's great. Obviously, the community has really welcomed us with open arms. We love being down here, and it's a great place to play hockey, so we're happy to be here.
We're excited for you. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Megan Duggan, your captain for Team USA.
walking right across while the cops talk. Make you feel like a boss when your eyes lock and you can't stop staring endlessly. She got the whole thing figured out. It's me where it hurts and I know I might be swinging at a curve. I don't mind it though when the lights are low. She can't hit the notes. Wearing my t-shirt. Everybody knows she's a perfect lucky just to find her. Well, I don't know if I'm chasing.
Do I like my chicken fried? Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio up. I like to see the sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes. Feel the touch of a precious child. Know a mother's love.
All right, fans, making its first lap around the rink. It is the Chick-fil-A Fans Am. And aboard the Bovine boat, it's the LaPrade family. Enjoy the ride, guys, and thanks to our friends at Chick-fil-A.
In my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in southern ground. And
ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to welcome back to the ice. It is her second time behind the wheel of the Zamboni. It is the future Zamboni Hall of Famer, Allie Murdoch.
Ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride, and she don't care.
So good, it's almost like hunger. So tell my mom I'm having breakfast when it's dinner. Got soul in a song. Don't tell me that I'm wrong. I got peace in my mind, and yeah, I think it's time. Come on, we're getting down all night long. So we can swing all night long. To the beat all night long. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
if you love somebody, better tell them why they're here, 'cause they just may run away from you. You'll never know quite when, well, then again it just depends on how long the time is left for you. I've had the highest mountains, I've had the deepest river. You can have it all, but now keep moving. I'll take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Been waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I've tried to cut these corners, tried to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could have gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way for something. I take it in, but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Been waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child.
Hey fans, immediately following today's game, Team USA members will be signing autographs up at section 106. Again, immediately following today's game, you can get autographs from your favorite Team USA members at section 106. Get your official 2017 The Time Is Now tour merchandise and Team USA gear to show your support of the U.S. Women's National Team on its road to Pyeongchang. Visit the merchandise kiosk on the main concourse just outside section 112.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with Liberty Mutual, all I needed to do to get an estimate was snap a photo of the damage, and voila.
Voila.
I wish my insurance company had that. Wait, hold it, boys. There's supposed to be 3 of you. Where's your brother? Where's your brother? Hey, where's Charlie? Charlie?
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual is proud to offer USA Hockey members special savings on auto and home insurance. Visit libertymutual.com/USA Hockey to get your free quote. Liberty Mutual Insurance, proud sponsor of USA Hockey.
Up before the sun every day. Committed to getting it right. No shortcuts. Ever. Hard work, focus, and one goal, to be the best. Is it worth it?
When your coffee tastes like this, yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
Freshly ground, freshly brewed all day. Brewed for this. America runs on Dunkin'.
Ground fresh, brewed fresh all day. Smooth from the first sip to the last. As the official coffee shop of USA Hockey, Dunkin' Donuts is the perfect go-to all season long. So grab a hot or iced coffee, an original blend, or dark roast, and get ready for game day. From the drop of the puck to the final buzzer, Dunkin' Coffee is brewed for this. Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee shop of USA Hockey.
Toyota, let's go places.
USA Hockey would like to thank our friends at Nike for being a sponsor of the U.S. women's national team during their quest for gold in Pyeongchang. Nike, just do it.
Just forget the wins, it's the best to use. Won't you follow me into the jungle? Ain't no God on my streets, in the heart of the jungle. Won't you follow me into the jungle? Ain't no God on the streets, in the heart of the jungle. Won't you follow me into the jungle? In the city of lights, in the backstreet balls.
They're the ones in charge of enforcing the law. Tonight's officials are Nicoletta Celerova, Jamie Huntley Park, Kendall Hanley, and Jackie Spresser. Carrying flags representing the United States and Canada, give it up for Erin Whalen and Alexis Okus. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get up and get loud and welcome to the ice, the Four Nations Cup Championship game, your United States Women's National Team and Team Canada. And celebration of girls hockey, and to join the teams for tonight's starting lineups and national anthems, please welcome the 14U and 16U players participating in the Four Affiliates Cup tournament this weekend from Nashville. Now here is the starting lineup for the visitors, Team Canada. Starting in goal, number 31, Genevieve Lacasse. On defense, number 5, Lorraine Rougeau. On defense, number 8, Laura Fortino. At forward, number 2, Megan Augusta. At forward, number 6, Rebecca Johnston. And at forward, number 29, Marie-Philippe Poulin. The head coach for Team Canada, Laura Schuler, and assistant coaches, Dwayne Galwachuk and Troy Ryan. And now, this evening's starters for Team USA. Starting in goal from Andover, Minnesota, number 35, Maddie Rooney. On defense from East Bell, California, number 3, Kayla Barnes. On defense from Westfield, Massachusetts, number 22, Casey Bellamy. At forward from Doosman, Wisconsin, number 14, Brianna Decker. At forward from Sun Valley, Idaho, number 21, Hillary Knight. And at forward from Palos Heights, Illinois, number 26, Kendall Coyne. A head coach for the United States, Rob Strummer, with associate head coach Brett Strutt and assistant coach Paul Mara. On this Veterans Day weekend, we welcome someone who has toured in 13 different countries for our troops. She is a former American Idol finalist and current country music recording artist. Here to sing both the Canadian and the United States national anthems, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ayla Brown.
Oh, Canada, our home in native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good afternoon and welcome from Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, the final day of the Four Nations Cup. The U.S. continues the Time Is Now tour with today's championship game against Team Canada. I'm joined with Chris Dingman in the booth, providing color commentary. I'm John Connolly. And before we get going, I wanted to play a quick interview from the American coaches recorded Friday night.
John Connolly here with the coaching staff of Team USA. Rob Stauber, we're streaming the games online. You've got great hockey being played in Tampa, but any message you'd like to get to the people that are watching back home?
Well, it's going to be an exciting game, as it always is against Canada. Whether you're in the arena and you have to pay money to be there, or you're at home watching, you're going to enjoy this game. It's always a heated rivalry.
Thanks, Rob. Brett, any thoughts about this? Hockey TV fans across North America and the globe watching Team USA face Canada in the finals of the Four Nations Cup.
Yeah, well, we're excited about it, and it's going to be a heck of a game. And so anyone who has a chance to watch is going to have a great opportunity to see some real great hockey, some great competitive hockey, and also just a great spirit about the game.
Thanks, Brett.
You're welcome.
You heard from Rob Stauber and Brett Strott, coaches for the American team with Paul Mara. They keep saying, great game, great game, great game. Chris, it's the finals. It's a big game, but it seems like we did this just a couple days ago.
We did. Today's game is anything like the game a couple days ago. We're in for quite the matchup, and one of the best games I've seen of hockey played at any level. It's super exciting, super competitive, and it's going to be, again, a great game this afternoon.
United States wearing white, blue on the shoulders. Canada in red, black trim. Puck is dropped and we're off. Interesting storylines. The Americans are carrying 3 goalies, none of whom have Olympic experience. Today it's Maddie Rooney that gets the start. She's a newbie of the group, very little experience, came to Tampa with just 2 appearances previously for Team USA. She's a workhorse from the University of Minnesota Duluth. Maddie Rooney in goal for the United States.
And, a good problem to have. You got great goaltenders on both sides, and really marveled at with the Canadian goaltending was their ability to move the puck, and obviously not a lot of action for Rooney in the game a couple days ago, but we'll definitely get some more shots this afternoon.
You mentioned great goaltenders on both sides. If we look down to the other end.
Oh, what a save.
If we look down to the other end, it's Geneviève Lacasse. She is in goal for the Canadians. Interesting that not dressing in any of the games is Shannon Sabatos, a lot of experience for Team Canada. We've seen Debian and today Lacasse. Strong goaltending both ways, but it's Geneviève Lacasse with the start for Team Canada.
And some good saves. And talking about Team US, great save by the third save now. And a couple point blank opportunities. Natalie Spooner with the shot, and then on the refield, on the rebound, Jennifer Wakefield with bang saves, and then this one just more of a floater towards the net, and a good job just sucking the puck in and controlling it, making the save with no rebound.
We're privileged and fortunate to be able to broadcast today's game with what is probably the greatest rivalry going today anywhere in team sports. U.S. winners of the last 4 World Championships and winners on Wednesday night. Canada, winners of the last 4 Olympic gold medals, and both these teams are medal favorites for South Korea 2018 Winter Games. And potato, Chris. It's really what's your flavor? You can make a strong case that either one of these programs is the better program right now. There's so many data points to point to for when they've been more successful. It's one of the best rivalries because of how competitive it is.
Well, and it was always Canada. A ton of credit has to be given to USA Hockey and bridging the gap. And, it depends on who you talk to, whether is U.S. the team, is Canada the team, and more than not now, the opinion is U.S. has pulled ahead of Canada a little bit, and it varies from game to game, and you have so many talented players. But again, in what USA Hockey has done, and obviously the boys and the men's side of things, but on the women's side of things, and you just look at the talent of these players and Coyne and go on down the line, Cameron Easy, Coyle, Decker, Hillary Knight, Kayla Barnes getting an opportunity. There's so many good, talented female hockey players, and that's why it's so exciting. It's now there's some pushback. They've taken it to Canada a little bit, and obviously Canada has something to prove because they feel they're a superior team. They're one of the superpowers in the U.S. They believe they are also.
Kelly Panic for the United States blocks the shot and eventually gains control. U.S. trying to get out of their zone. We are almost 3 minutes in. Breakaway opportunity, streaking. It's Kendall Coyne comes in, and it's, I guess, easy save for a breakaway, but she was coming in, no defender within 20 feet.
The speed she possesses, and just a heads-up play, and seeing her take it off and find the open space, and both Canadian defenders getting caught in the offensive zone, and a great opportunity that was negated. A good start for Canada.
Kendall Coyne, player of the game for the United States in the Wednesday and the Friday matchup. She's been very impressive during this tournament, and early breakaway opportunity for Kendall Coyne. First time the U.S. had gotten out of their zone. They were down 3-0 on the shot clock. They generate 2 shots there. It's starting to settle down and level out, and after the initial surge from the first puck, penalty coming up, looks like things are settling down, and then we get a penalty call with our first power play opportunity.
Oh, just a good, hard-working shift for Brianne Jenner for Canada, and just drawing that call and using her speed, and then a puck battle on the boards, and maybe an iffy call, the Canadian player falling down, and a lot of times when the officials see that, they'll look to make the call, but big penalty kill upcoming here for Team USA.
It's Decker that goes off. 2-minute minor. Chris, she's twice MVP of the NWHL, Women's Hockey League, National Women's Hockey League, MVP both years of its existence. So U.S. will have to do without her services for the next couple minutes as Canada is enjoying an advantage. Puck cleared out to neutral zone. Canada back in their end. Cameronese that threw it the length of the ice.
Well, we'll see if any adjustments are made on the Canadian side of things. We'll see a lot from their power plays, very similar to what we saw with the Finnish and Swedish power plays, trying to get that shot from the middle of the ice and see if they get a lot more movement. And, you know, great job of penalty killing by the U.S. women's team. And it was 11 penalties against, I think 7 or 8 ended up being actual power plays, just to offsetting calls.
Augusta with a shot after a pass from Poulin. Marie-Philippe Poulin and Megan Augusta, the top-line forwards, they've really got a chemistry playing together and have done very well this week so far. Poulin enters the game with 7 points, 2 goals, 5 assists. Augusta 5, 3 goals, 2 assists. The top-end skill out for the Canadians on the power play. 52 seconds remains on the player advantage.
It's just what you would expect. And again, you rely on your veteran players, the players you've had, and then from there on out, what players are going to make a difference? Who else is going to be a difference maker? And we talked about young Caleb Barnes getting a ton of ice time, power play, out on the penalty kill now, and she's a player that's put her ring in her hat in the ring, if you want to say it that way, or whatever analogy you want to use it. She's in the conversation now. From what we've seen, that there's a push now. We've seen some U.S. players that have not been dressing, and is that by design? Is that by, the pretty hush-hush, the U.S. team, as far as who's playing and who's not and why. But, for a youngster like that, Caleb Barnes getting an opportunity and making the most of it, she's got to be ecstatic.
Scoring opportunity here, shot just wide. Spooner is the one that brought it into the zone, worked to her forehand, and couldn't quite get it past Maddie Rooney. Penalty has expired. The United States back to full strength. Play running into the official in the corner. Bodies flying and a little bit of a scrum along the wall before it's rung along the boards. U.S. able to clear. Nice short pass up ahead. Hits Coyne. Coyne pulls back out. U.S. has demonstrated they're very comfortable going both ways. Really content to use the full 200 feet. They have played a style that emphasizes puck possession. No dump and chase in them.
No, not unless they absolutely have to. And oh, what a save. Great opportunity out in front.
Coyne with a centering pass. Decker somehow got her stick on it, and it's a big save by Jean-Pierre Lacasse. Good scoring chance here on replay, and you can see managed to, get a one-time shot off into the glove, but very high-skill play there to knock a puck moving at her out of the air.
Well, just a nice play from below the goal line, passing out, and the Canadian players unable to recognize the player jumping in for the U.S. and their best opportunity of the game, so far. And they're starting to build. And a bit of a slow start for the U.S. team. And Canada had the jump early on, but you can see the U.S. women's team settling into their game a little bit, using that speed, using that transition, using those different ways of attack.
United States has Rooney in goal, not dressing today. They carry 3 goaltenders. Is Hensley. Hensley not dressing, has a save percentage over 95% with the national team in 9 appearances and a goals against average sub-1 at .78. She's given up 7 goals in 9 games. Not dressing today, Nicole Hensley. She was a shutout goaltender earlier. It's got to be nice for Coach Stauber, goaltender himself, to have the luxury of 3 great goaltenders and sitting someone with the credentials of Hensley.
Yeah, great problem to have if you're a coach.
Face-off controlled by the Americans, but the shot's knocked down. Team Canada clears it out, pass a little bit too far, and they are into the attacking zone. Irwin unable to keep it on her stick. This is Pankowski's pass, tipped, winds up on the stick of an American, goes through Pankowski and comes back to her. She gets a tip on the goal. It was shot there from Gigi Marvin. Back out to neutral zone, as we mentioned. If you haven't seen Team USA play, they're very content to be patient with the puck and use all that white space behind them, retreating before advancing. And it's Pelkey now that brings it into the zone. Good example there of them using all 200 feet. It's not skate your lane, push the puck. It's really more emphasizing possession, and we'll be mentioning that all game because that's just how they play.
And the other side of things, in Canada, they're more than willing to chip the puck in the corner and get a forecheck going. But the advantage the way the U.S. plays in that puck possession game is that we talked about it's very difficult in what you do when they constantly have players changing and interacting and going.
Poulin forces the turnover, pass out into the high slot. Diving shot block there by captain Megan Duggan. Very impressive recovery, as that turnover in the defending zone really gave the Canadians a pretty good scoring chance. This is now a wide angle shot, and it's steered aside by goaltender Maddie Rooney. Oh, another shot block, and it's a big slap shot there by Jillian Saunier. Saunier got the rebound and got another shot off. A couple American bodies there to block the shot, eventually covered by Rooney, but a good surge there by the Canadians as they run the shot clock up to 6-4 advantage.
Some big saves in just off of one turnover in the defensive end, and again going back to playing that puck possession game, that you got to make sure you take care of the puck. Because in that instance there where you have it at your own goal line, turn it over, results in a couple scoring chances against.
Early on, the Americans have been very good at getting into the shooting lanes and blocking shots before they get to net. Downside of that is they're also in a position to screen, so we'll be watching that as the game goes on. Kessel brings it wide, throws it into the front of the net area, cleared out to the side by the Canadians, who are now forced back behind the goal line, trying to break out of their zone. Fortino very comfortable in some of the games we saw this week, skating the puck. Don't know how much of an opportunity she's going to be having today to carry the puck great distances, as the Americans really seem to close in faster than the other countries in terms of swarming the puck.
Yeah, and what they want to do and dog it on the defensive zone play, and some interesting matchups and as far as size and skill, and you have this line out here now with Wakefield, Jenner, and Spooner all around 5'9", 5'10", 5'10", bigger on the size side of things, and some of the smaller U.S. defenders are going to have to find a way to create puck separation. They're going to have to use their speed. You're going to have to use their quickness rather than just sheer muscle.
Americans have a couple players that are 5'10", close to 6 feet tall, but also have a number of players 5'5" and under, and Kayla Barnes, the shortest player in the tournament, at 5'1". So really kind of blind to size. They're just looking for the players that they think have the skills to play at this level. If there is a downside to a smaller roster, Poulin with another turnover here. She comes in, nice pass, a little bit too far for Augusta, but you can see that Sutton to Youngblood type chemistry Poulin and Augusta have evidenced right there. But if there's a downside, Chris, to carrying a smaller roster, it's going to be a game like this against Canada, with so many, taller forwards like Jennifer Wakefield, Spooner, Jenner. They're 5'10" across the forward line. It's going to be a game like this where that potential weakness is exposed.
Yeah, and difficult to defend. There was a great coach that said you can't teach size. You cannot teach size, and if you have size and speed and ability, which some of these Canadian players do, very difficult to defend against. And the U.S. team needs to get their game back in order. A couple untimely and turnovers we haven't seen, and Team Canada getting a lot of zone time off of that.
Face-off won by Alex Carpenter. She is the 2015 Patty Kazmaier Award winner when she was at Boston College. We'll talk about the Kazmaier Award quite a bit today. It's the equivalent of the Hockey Heisman, if you will, male equivalent being the Hobey Baker Award. Nice dangle move there, couldn't quite get through. Gigi Marvin tried to take it through the wickets and hit a skate, but Marvin pushing the pace there and steered aside by the Canadian skate. Now they're down into their other end. It's a hand pass to yourself, which is allowed, but turned over. Americans coming out the other way. It's Pankowski up the right-hand side. She leaves it for Carpenter. Carpenter shot steered to the corner. Good rebound control there by Genevieve Lacasse.
The U.S. needs more of that. In the previous rush, and the U.S. is, when they're at the top of their game, when they're playing well, from what I've seen is their defensemen jumping up in the play, joining the rush, moving the puck up, and using their speed and different layers of attack.
Canadians try a centering pass, gets through the slot and back out to the point. Clap bomber goes just wide, but a real good point shot there by Rougeau. And Americans very fortunate it was slightly off target.
This line again for Canada, playing some offense, spending the majority of their time in the offensive zone of Wakefield, Jenner, and Spooner.
Trying to get it over into the slot to Panic. Doesn't quite connect, but Falzer has been, jumping up into the play a little bit. We saw that earlier this week. Yeah. Interesting fun fact about Emily Falzer, Chris. We saw the hat trick on Tuesday night, but Falzer has played 45 games entering this tournament with the American national team, only 8 goals, and then she bursts out of the gate with a hat trick. So not known to be a goal scorer historically. She has really impressed here. In addition to that, captain of the Buffalo Buttes, the team that won the Isabel Cup given to the NWHL Women, North National Women's Hockey League Championship. So Falzer, captain of the Buffalo Buttes, showing some goal-scoring prowess here today. This tournament. Wonder if that's going to carry over today and into the Olympics.
If you're U.S., absolutely, you're hoping for that, and good opportunity here, getting a power play chance, and Renata Fast in the box for Canada. So a power play opportunity for the U.S. women's team, and we'll see what kind of look they have on the power play. We've seen a lot of movement. Over their couple games where we've seen a lot of interchanging between the defensemen in the middle of the ice and the wingers on the side, or the defensemen. So it'll be interesting to see what type of look they're gonna go with. And that's one thing, is that the talent on both of these teams and the familiarity with each other. And you talked to Jennifer Wakefield, and she said we don't like each other, and that's great. The rivalries are great where you have that, and those friendly and not so friendly rivalries, but the familiarity with each other, and they've played each other so many times in international competition and tournaments and such, that you're not with the pre-scouts and video and all the different things that coaches do going into games and the meetings. There's very few surprises. So what little adjustments can you make, especially on the special teams, in order to get that advantage?
The storyline within the game is all personnel choices. The players within the teams are jockeying for their role on the team, and it's interesting to see who's used in the special team situation. Falzer manning the umbrella tip for the Americans. Earlier this week it had been newcomer Kayla Barnes. So Falzer's out on top, gets the puck here, and she fakes a shot, chooses to pass far side. American forwards out there include Amanda Kessel, Megan Keller's out there, and if they stand still long enough, Chris, I'd get the rest of them, but that's Danny Cameronisi, chants are starting here. We got the crowd chanting USA. Just 12 minutes have elapsed in this game, and good turnout so far. We've got a portion of the lower bowl filled, and we're going to definitely see the electricity pick up as the game goes on.
I like the intensity of the game, and as some change-ups for U.S. side. I think Kayla Barnes out there now, and this is the pace of this game has been tremendous from the start, and you'd expect that. And the U.S. is starting to settle into their game and how they want to play. And look at the power play and special teams. It's so very important for these teams. And good job by the U.S. knocking away the Canadian opportunity. Is that special teams are such a big part of it. In the U.S. 6 for 24 on the power play, 25%, and which is phenomenal. Any NHL team would take that in a heartbeat if you're a special teams coach. And then on the other side, Canada only penalty killing only at 85%.
Coyne content to try pushing the pace this shift. Seems like everywhere she's going, she's flying around out there. Kendall Coyne is there's a good shot there from the slot. 2016 Patty Kazmaier Award winner from Northeastern. So it was Carpenter from one Boston school in 2015, and Coyne winning it the following season. Just shows that the level of play in the American college is very high, as they're also superstars on the international stage here with Team USA.
Well, some end-to-end action, and a good chance for the U.S. women's and a shot block. And then coming out of the box, Canada with a 3-on-1 and able to get a bit of a shot off, but a good stick play by the U.S. defender.
Back to 5-on-5. Canadians have it in the American zone, but Americans gain possession, and they'll work a breakout opportunity. Nice counter move there from Callie Flanagan. far pass from Barnes. Now they're going to try to come up the far side. Flanagan doesn't like what she sees, opts to bring it back into the zone, and it's back to Barnes. This is Carpenter. Or is that Steckline with the puck? The ponytails and women's, yeah, that's Steckline. Ponytails make it hard, but also just the sheer distance, Chris. It's a little different than where we were. We were at Florida Hospital Center Ice the last few days, and we were about 5 rows back. There's not that much seating there. Here we are in the upper rafters of Amalie Arena NHL rink. We talked about it during this afternoon's game. Much different environment. The rink dimension's the same, but much different environment playing in a big bowl like this at Amalie Arena.
Yep, and transition opportunity for the U.S. A good shift for them, and just having some sustained pressure in the zone against Team Canada. And they want to have, these are the shifts you want to have. You want to have 1, 2, 3, start a couple shifts in a row, getting some offensive zone pressure, and a 3-on-2 opportunity for Canada going back and shot wide.
If you're watching at home, I know you're thinking it's got to be impossible to confuse Kelly Steckline, or at least Steckline, second Olympics, 6 feet tall, 3 national titles in Minnesota, where she was the captain, with newcomer 18-year-old Kayla Barnes, very little international experience with Team USA, but honest to gosh, 6 feet tall, 5'1". From this distance, they all look about the same size to me, Chris.
Yep. Yeah, just the speed at which they're playing, and good start for Team Canada. That was the start they wanted. They had anticipation. They had jump. They had, pressure on the forecheck, and the U.S. Getting really settling into their game and starting to get some more sustained pressure and zone time. And we talk so much about the puck possession game and the way the U.S. women's team wants to play, and we really have to marvel at the fact that the poise their defensive had, even the veteran players down, Keller going down all the way down to. Kayla Barnes on the newest player on the team, and just to have that poise to hang on to the puck when you have Canadian forwards coming full speed at you, and why they're doing that, John, for the people at home that maybe don't know, is they're hanging on to that puck, and they're trying to create an opening, but also they're trying to get line changes. So we've seen a couple times where 3 players, sometimes 4 players will change over the course of 5 to 10 seconds when they're retaining the puck inside their own blue line going D to D.
Chris, we have talked throughout the week about the great rivalry here, but I know you've been part of 2 Stanley Cup championship teams. I know both series went 7 games. So, as you try to come up with parallels between the women's Olympic game and, the higher levels of professional hockey, NHL, where you've won Stanley Cups, this rivalry is interesting. Chrissy Everett and Martina Navratilova faced each other 80 times. 61 of those times were in finals, and some of those were in finals of Grand Slams. So, this isn't the Olympics, but it is a championship game of an international competition. It's not a friendly, and it's also not the World Championships. So, there's big games, there's bigger games, and bigger games. And, just kind of walk us through the mindset of how it might be playing a familiar rival and knowing that it could be regular season, playoffs, Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals. So talk about the rivalry and what the game's tone may be like, and does that change or doesn't it?
I think between these 2 teams, it really doesn't. And we were seeing this in this first period. The U.S. really settling into their game and trying to activate the defensemen and get some offensive chances, is that these teams don't like each other. And it's great for the game. And they don't like each other because they want to be the best and they want to prove they're the best. And the mindset, as simple as this, is Canada offside and being able to clear the zone, is that this is not the Olympics. We understand that. This is not the World Championships. But you're looking at any competitive advantage you can get, and meaning, whatever you can do in this game, you can get in their heads a little bit. And, hockey and sports it's physical, but as much as it's physical, it's mental. And any advantage you can get or edge you can get going towards the Olympics is exactly what you're looking for.
Comes out to neutral zone where it's played by Callie Flanagan. Flanagan just turned 22. It would be her senior season at Boston College, one of the younger American players. And now it winds up onto the stick of Gigi Marvin, kind of the other end of the spectrum. Marvin has played multiple Olympics. And interesting about Gigi Marvin, 2012-13 season, She was part of the Boston Blades when they won the Clarkson Cup. That's the championship of the CWHL. Then 3 years later, Boston Pride, 2015-16 Isabel Cup champions. That's the top prize in the NWHL. So she's a winner at many different levels. About the only thing that's missing from her resume is the Olympic gold medal, and that's why she's continuing to play as one of the veterans of this team at age 30.
A lot of cups. A lot of cups to her resume. You know, good shift for the U.S. women's team, and just getting the puck to the net, and taking the puck to the net with reckless abandon. That's what they want to do. Use their speed, and a good rebound control by the Canadian goaltender. And for the U.S., just continue to do that. Stay within your game, stay within your system, and how you want to play, and use your speed.
Steckline pushed off the puck by Jenner. Canada triggering attack the other way, ends up running into the American defenders before pushing out harmlessly to the sidewall. Now we're behind the goal. Scrum, and eventually a nice pass back to Fast. Fast goes rink side to the other defenseman, D-to-D. And you can see a lot of this between these teams. These are top teams. A lot of bend, don't break. Easy to make passes around the perimeter and hard to get it into those scoring areas. I think that points to the importance of special teams. Last time these teams played, 18 penalties. It was 11 minors against the U.S. and 7 against Canada. A lot of goals likely to come on special teams.
2-on-1 opportunity, and shot just wide. The pass across by Poulin.
Poulin to Johnston. She did a great job pulling it out of her skate, but unable to get enough control of it to get the shot on goal.
Just before that, though, just an effort play, and Pelkey getting in on the forecheck and creating a turnover and getting an offensive chance for U.S. team. So we're seeing a lot of this. You talk about a heavyweight bout and counter-punching. One chance for a team in one end and a chance for another team in the other end.
Rougeau's pass over to Clark led to a shot, but Clark didn't get enough wood. Kind of a change-up, ends up into the glove of Maddie Rooney. Face-off now comes to her left. Backing up, getting back to the American goaltenders, it's Hensley not dressed. Rigsby's backing up. She's yet to play in the Olympics, however, has been a member of 4 World Championship teams and 4 Four Nations teams. So she's been around for a full Olympic cycle. And if you're looking at one of the Americans maybe that has a little more experience in goal, it's Rigsby who's the backup today. So Coach Rob Stauber, just like the Swedish coach, 3 great goaltenders to choose from. It's Rooney in today, but nothing decided yet for what's going to happen in South Korea. Want to look over at the team in red, Chris. Hear you talk about the differences there in the mindset. Canada really still at the tryout phase. A lot of strong scratches today. Melody Daou, Hallie Krasiniak, Sarah Nurse, Erin Ambrose, Micah Zandy Hard, Sarah Potomac, Amy Potomac. A lot of great players for Canada not dressing, and a lot of people that are either on the ice or not playing today unable to make the trip to South Korea when the final cuts come.
And some difficult decisions for both teams. And the Canada side of it is it's very difficult not knowing you're going to be on a team, and good defensive play and a body contact off the post.
It hit the post or hit her skate right as it was down up to the goal line, and U.S. avoids a crisis there. We're still scoreless, just 20 seconds remaining in the first period.
Well, it would have been a difficult pill to swallow for the U.S. women's team, and as we mentioned, for the Canadians, there's going to be some tough decisions, as there will be for the U.S. team, and you're trying to make a name for yourself. You're trying to get that opportunity, and we looked at who's played and who hasn't played in the last couple games, and you get a name like Jennifer Wakefield get an opportunity with Jenner and Spooner, and I've really liked her game on the Canadian side of things. Obviously, we know the veterans that have been there before, and then for the U.S. too, we got to talk about the speed and the skill of their players and some of their smaller players. Kendall Coyne, 5'2", Brianna Decker, 5'4", and Kayla Barnes, 5'1", Amanda Pelkey, 5'3". They're smaller in stature, but not in their fight and the way they play and their tenacity in which they play. You really have to commend that.
Chris, you've mentioned her a few times today, one of the bigger and stronger forwards for Team Canada. In the Four Nations, she has 4 goals and 1 assist for 5 points. I think what makes that even more impressive is she was a scratch the last time these two teams played. She's not getting to play every game, but she's out there today. Our between-period guest in a recorded interview is number 9 for Team Canada, Jennifer Wakefield. So before we go to break, just take 3 minutes and listen to our discussion with Jennifer Wakefield, recorded earlier this week.
Here with Jennifer Wakefield, forward for Team Canada. We've talked a lot this week about how Team Canada has a little bit different approach and is still in a trial process, if you will, showing up with 30 players on the roster. Maybe give us some insight into how that feels from a player's standpoint. We're still several months out for the Olympics, and not everybody knows what the final roster is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit stressful not knowing whether you're going to go or not, and, you know, family trying to make arrangements to see you. But I think, I think we have the right blueprint in order to choose the right players. You have enough time to showcase your skills and build chemistry with other players, and it keeps everyone honest and on their toes of work ethic and really pushing each other to be better.
Jennifer, I think that one of the great rivalries in all of sport right now is the U.S. and Canada in women's hockey, but not enough people are aware about it. And you've been winning the world Olympic gold medals. U.S. has been winning the world championships. Talk about what it means. Second time in a couple days, U.S. faces Canada. What's it like as you approach that game as a player in one of the storied rivalries in all of sports?
It's very exciting. Like you said, it's one of the biggest rivals in women's hockey, and I think every time you see us facing each other, the fans aren't disappointed. We had our last 2 world championships where both went into overtime. Obviously a gold and gold difference, and then going back to Sochi and the unbelievable kind of turnaround we had in the last, I think, 5 minutes. So yeah, we've always had that huge rival. We don't like each other, we don't like them, they don't like us, and we put on a good show for the rest of the world.
I've noticed that Canadians seem much more willing to talk about Sochi. That was one of the great games in hockey history, so I know South Korea is going to be just as good. We're here in Tampa today, and it's the final of the Four Nations Cup. I don't think enough people are aware of this rivalry. My goal is, leading up to the Olympics, maybe a Trump tweet, maybe a bet with Trudeau. Can you give us some type of bulletin board material, something to really get people excited about this rivalry? Because not enough people know about it, and I want to hear something that really is going to light the fire under the fan base.
Well, I know Trudeau's a big hockey fan, so I'm sure we can get him on board with a few tweets here and there. But yeah, no, like I said, it's one of those things that you have to experience firsthand, and I think you'll just be drawn to the game from there. So my big thing is just come out and see what we can do, and the talented women that we have on both sides, Canadian and American players.
Thanks for your time, Jennifer. Is there anything you'd like to say to the folks back home in Pickering before we wrap up?
Just proud to be from Pickering and representing Dunbarton High School. Hopefully good enough for all the other good athletes that have come out of there.
That's Jennifer Wakefield, number 9, high-scoring forward for the Canadian Olympic team. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Passing going on here. Team White, Team Blue. Steals it. 50 seconds left to play. Team Blue still looking for the nets. Moving it up. Here we go. Team White denies it. 35 seconds to play. Team White still on top, 1-0. Blue keeps it in the neutral zone, forces it back up. Still keeping it in the zone. Nice shot. Little wide. 20 seconds to play. And Team White with no shot on goal. Save Team Blue. 10 seconds to play. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your Tampa Bay Lightning girls team out here, Lightning Maid Hockey at Amalie Arena. And fans, you can learn more about USA Hockey's revolutionary American development model, where age-appropriate training utilizing long-term athlete development principles help all kids reach their fullest potential. Log on to admkids.com to learn more. And back for another lap around the barn. It's the Chick-fil-A Fan Zam. Out for a ride this time, we'd like to welcome the Shell and Javal family. Enjoy the ride, guys, and our thanks to our friends at Chick-fil-A.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with Liberty Mutual, all I needed to do to get an estimate was snap a photo of the damage and voila.
Voila. I wish my insurance company had that. Wait, hold it, boys. There's supposed to be 3 of you. Where's your brother? Where's your brother? Hey, where's Charlie? Charlie?
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual is proud to offer USA Hockey members special savings on auto and home insurance. Visit libertymutual.com/USA Hockey to get your free quote. Liberty Mutual Insurance, proud sponsor of USA Hockey.
Toyota, let's go places.
The Time Is Now Tour is brought to you by our friends at Toyota, who is pleased to support the athletes as they chase their dream on and off the ice. Toyota, let's go places.
Fans, make a donation to the USA Hockey Foundation's Friends of Women's Hockey Fund that directly impacts the future of women's hockey in the USA. We're grateful for your commitment and support. To make a gift, visit usahockeyfoundation.com.
Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, hip strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Bad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music. I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back question. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment to
grew up, really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me. Go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark. We raw, time to go up, gone. Deuces goodbye, I got a world to see. And my girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer, nah. I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people now. Sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands, this is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
intermission, officials step onto the ice. Still no sign of the teams. First period scoreless. Pretty even game if you look at the game sheet. Penalty on each team. Decker, early first period, 2 minutes for hooking. Canada, middle of the period, Renata Foss, 2 minutes tripping. Shots on goal, 8-7. Canada has the upper hand there. You know, both teams successfully killed and 0 for 1 on the power play. While we're waiting for the period to get started, want to remind everybody or let them know if they haven't heard already, fans, the brand new U.S. Olympic hockey jerseys were recently revealed, and you can get your very own Olympic jersey online at shopusahockey.com. Quantities are limited, so don't wait. Get yours today at shopusahockey.com. Also, want to point out that the designs I've seen online don't match what they're wearing today. So these are some traditional national team jerseys, not an exact match for what they'll be wearing in South Korea. So all the more reason for you to check out the new stylings at shopusahockey.com. Chris, had a couple minutes to catch our breaths and give some thoughts. What are you seeing out there as we enter the second period?
I think a little more jump from Team Canada early in that game, and then the U.S. team settling into their game a little bit more. You know, some good goaltending and some good opportunities. And I think in this game, from what we've seen, the prime scoring chances have come off a turnover. So whichever team is able to have the least amount of turnovers, in my estimation, will be successful.
It's interesting you mentioned the turnovers. The close games generally do come down to that. Both teams demonstrated a lot of skill out of their defense, able to trigger some opportunities offensively in the pool play games, particularly against Sweden and Finland. But having that as a strength is also a potential Achilles heel, because getting defenders up involved trying to make plays only increases the likelihood when there are turnovers, there's fewer people back. So I know I'm going to be looking for that as we hit the second period. Puck is dropped and we're in the neutral zone. Poulin fanning on dumping it down, turned over to the Americans, and they try to gain possession. Bellamy with the short pass. Worth pointing out, Chris, Bellamy, 12th Four Nations Cup tournament. So she's played in this before many times.
A veteran. AG veteran.
Long-time veteran of the American team. Poulin, she's out there. No, that's not Poulin. That's, what am I saying? Jenner. They've already gotten the line change. Jenner out for the Canadians. They have been unable to sustain much of an offensive attack. In the first period, it was Poulin and Augusta. I think I'm going to be looking for that larger line, Wakefield, Jenner, Spooner, maybe to get some shots on Maddie Rooney this period.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of that. And you mentioned, we talked about Wakefield not getting an opportunity to play against the U.S. last time and drawing in the lineup, this game. And, I kind of look at her as a cross between an Eric Lindros and Keith Primo. And, just a bigger body, kind of longer stride, lanky stride, but, really good at using her size and her reach to protect the puck. And, you see her go wide, and a good shot by the U.S. here. But very difficult to defend against. And, we talked about you look at the size and the height of some of these U.S. players, and you gotta marvel at some of these smaller players and the speed and the skill they have. But also on the flip side is that you're defending against players that are 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". Very difficult if you're only 5'1", 5'2", 5'3".
Nice shot there by Carpenter, is swallowed up by Geneviève Lacoste by the Canadians. What I was looking for wasn't just the shot coming from Carpenter, it was how nicely the Canadians had marked their player. And the reason she shot, she couldn't find anybody open to pass to because everybody had a red jersey hanging on them.
And subtle adjustments that have been made in this game. And last game, U.S. really carried the play and took the play, and untimely turnover there.
It's exactly what we talked about. Centering pass, huge save, Maddie Rooney, but a real good scoring chance point blank from Jillian Saunier.
Well, Lee Steckline with an ill-advised pass across the blue line, and as a defenseman, if you're going to make that pass across, it better be 100%. And 2-on-1 opportunity, and nice pass across, and Rooney coming across making the save, but Alba Turnbull going to the net, and no stopping. She knocked the U.S. defender down. and they continue to go to the net, and a little extra push to the goaltender, Rooney. Good to see she's okay, but going hard to the net, trying to rattle the goaltender. And the teams talk about they want to go hard to the net. We want to, go to the net, go to the net, go to the net. We want to go hard, make it hard on the goaltender. And, running over the goaltender in Canada, getting away with one there.
There's a turnover and a shot just wide. Laura Stacey with the interception. End of that last shift, it was Bailey Brown that made a real nice play with the 2-on-1. Very important because there aren't many odd man rushes in a game like this. Very important when you get that opportunity that you get a good scoring chance, and Bram's pass set up, point-blank shot there by Saunier. Canada back into their own end, trying to break up the far wall. It hits the skate and is deflected to the Americans. As we've seen throughout the tournament, very content to pull it out into the neutral zone and work back into their own end. You don't see that very often in live hockey today, but if you hit YouTube, Bobby Orr did it all the time.
Yeah, his coach had no problem, excuse me, caught me off guard there, no problem with him doing it. But, the evolution of the game and coaching and what we've seen, and it has really impressed me from both of these teams. And the U.S. just, again, bringing the puck back, controlling it, and having that poise and confidence to hang on to it and get changes, especially in the second period. It'll be interesting to see which team's able to impose their will, so to speak, more so than the other one. You have the long change, and I like the way the U.S. plays the game, but if there's any turnovers and they get caught, their defenseman could be out there for a very long time, prolonged periods.
Going rink wide just a little bit too far for Decker. Americans trying to get back possession and work toward goal, but they pop it over, and it's actually a 4-on-1 opportunity. Wakefield comes in wide, cuts to the middle, but a beautiful play there defensively to break it up. Beautiful play by a sprawling Casey Bellamy. Or was that Pankowski? That's Bellamy, right?
Yeah, Bellamy. No, great play by Bellamy on a 3-on-1, and just anticipating waiting till the last minute in order to make that sprawling block on the pass. And Wakefield just waiting a little bit too long. And for the U.S., they got to tidy things up a little bit. You can't continue to give teams such as Team Canada 2-on-1 and 3-on-1 opportunities. Really need to tighten up defensively.
Great effort there by Carpenter as she fought through the defender and got a puck to net. It whistled through the blue. Unable to get a stick on it was Pankowski.
Well, you never want to give up offensive 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s. The positive to that is that the defensive play by Casey Bellamy and not giving up a shot at a 3-on-1 opportunity against.
Face-off comes to the left of Genevieve Lacasse. Americans win it temporarily, but end up giving up control to the Canadians, who are now exiting the zone through the neutral, bringing it in wide. This is Saunier trying to find some room to work toward the goal, but is really just forced outside along the perimeter. The Americans and the Canadians both very good at keeping the play at bay and minimizing those equal strength scoring chances. Most of the excitement comes special teams between these two teams.
Yeah, and some good zone time for Team Canada, but a good job defensively by the U.S. women's team, and just keeping them the outside. No harm, no foul.
Chris, 18 penalties last time these two teams met just a few days ago on Wednesday. 11 minors called against the United States, 7 minors against Canada. Today's game's been a much different tone. Very little even strength time. Seemed like it was all special teams. Today it's much more, plodding, slower, less swings, if you will, than that game. And I don't know that would favor one team versus the other. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you've seen some ebbs and flows throughout the game, and it seems to be Canada getting better starts to the periods. But you look at the last time when these two teams played a couple days ago, and there was a lot of emotion and anytime you have emotion and you're playing two teams you played a lot and rivals, and you got to learn to control those emotions. And a good save by the goaltender Maddie Rooney, and Poulin just putting the puck on net, trying to create a chance. But controlling those emotions in both of these teams, I guarantee there were conversations, and more especially from the U.S. coaching staff, and Canada also, is that we can't take 11 penalties. Like, we cannot take 11 penalties. Like, we simply cannot do that against a team like Canada. And Canadian coaches saying the same thing. So I think you're seeing a result of that, where it's okay to be tenacious. It's okay to have some physicality to your game, but you also got to control that. And You know, we saw in the previous game where, you know, the difference in giving up a power play opportunity, a 5-on-4, but then a 5-on-3 against, and you know, you can tell the way these teams are playing that there's not that extra hook, that extra slash, or you know, anything of that sort, because they know the importance that one penalty, that one opportunity could be the difference.
Chris, we've got a little break in play, and one thing that I wanted to talk about is, you know, career comeback here by Amanda Kessel. She was a top college player, had won the 2013 Kazmaier Award playing at the University of Minnesota, and then was sidelined for a few years. Not a lot of talk about it from her, but, you know, media reports talking about effects from concussions. You said after we left the rink the other day, hey, you know, she didn't play a lot. Here's a person who was away from the game for 2 years before returning, now trying to play at the Olympic level. You know, you've been through it. So, you know, Amanda Kessel coming back, what are the things that are important if she's going to be a heavy rotation player for the U.S.?
Well, it's just timing. That's a big part. Is, you know, any player you talk to that has missed some time and getting back is just getting your timing and getting your legs and getting that game condition. And you can practice all you want. You can, you know, shoot pucks, you can skate, you can, but until you're in a game and you're getting leaned on and you're getting bumped, it's a totally different animal. So I think just the timing part of the timing and getting your legs and getting back to game speed and that game condition.
Well, she should be fine now. She's part of the residency program playing with the Americans and had returned University of Minnesota, you know, a couple of seasons ago. So it sounds like, you know, that's you know, non-issue, if you will, with Amanda Kessel. But, you know, great story nonetheless. Nobody wants to see a player's career end if it's not on their own terms. Here she is, 2013 Kazmaier Award winner, and, you know, 4.5 years later, after you know, highest levels of college hockey, still playing, and like I said, 2 years away in between. So it's good to see Kessel out there, although just like Friday night, not logging a lot of minutes so far today, and that's something we'll keep an eye on. Typically plays on the line with Cameron Easy and Brandt.
Yeah, Canada going on the power play. Marie-Philippe Poulin drawing Megan Keller into an interference call.
The Canada power play has been fun for me to watch. It's constant motion from both the puck carrier and the people without the puck. I refer to it as an amoeba. It morphs from different shapes, from an overload, entering off the half wall, coming out of the corner, umbrella at times. And the U.S. is going to be challenged to fill passing lanes because those passing lanes are ever shifting.
Yeah, and some bigger bodies for Canada. And youngster Caleb Barnes out there, killing penalty, doing a good job clearing the zone, and Canada's going to go for a change for the forwards.
Oh, long pass there. The goaltenders for Canada have played the puck very well. Genevieve with a 100-foot pass there, setting up an odd man rush. Huge save. Rooney keeps the game scoreless, but Canada able to really trigger things out of their own back end due to the strong puck carrying from Lacoste.
Oh, what a save by Maddie Rooney to push across on a 2-on-1 opportunity. Rebecca Johnstone across and making it cost Augusta, and another save after that. And that's what you need out of your goaltender. That's what, you know, you're looking at big saves at key times. And Maddie Rooney with a couple big saves there, especially on that 2-on-1 chance.
Oh, nice little touch pass there. Springs Augusta coming in on the weak side. Her backhand pass doesn't quite get through. Here's a turnover. It's a head of steam for Carpenter as she breaks wide, buys some time and flings it into the slot. But Poulin back checking, able to tip the pass away. But I love that poise by Carpenter as she entered the zone. She saw her teammate Knight couldn't quite get it through to her, but really a lot of excitement there with a shorthanded chance on the 2-on-1.
Well, a couple great plays there. Carpenter buying time and space, trying to get her teammate to join the rush, and then on the Canadian side of things, a great back-checking play by Marie-Philippe Poulin in breaking that up.
You know, we've done 4 games now in just 6 days for the Canadian team, and you know, you see the first game, and you know, we call everybody's name a couple times, but over and over and over, it just seems like so much of the discussion with Team Canada is all about Marie-Philippe Poulin, captain, top line center. Her and Augusta have a particular chemistry together, and you know, Poulin has been, you know, one of the, if not the most outstanding player thus far in this tournament.
Yeah, you have your key players, and she's played every game, and as have a couple other players on the Canadian side of things, and you've seen some players coming in and out. So I think it's very difficult for people that maybe don't see a lot of this Canadian team, who will most likely be involved getting towards the Olympics. But And then you're looking at the other players in and out of the lineup that are looking to fill those spots, and that's what you have anytime you're building a team. And the U.S. is very similar in that too, where we keep talking about Caleb Barnes getting an opportunity, and some of these other players, and you have your mainstays, your players, your horses have been your you always use the term guys, but your girls, your players for years, and then you're looking to add to that and see who can jump up and make a name for themselves.
Scrum along the wall. Cameron Easy's pretty much on the far side, looking for a puck to pop out and be flung wide. You can see, dead puck, 10 seconds at least before we finally get the whistle. But it's going to be something like that. Cameron Easy waiting on the weak side, puck popping out in order to create any space. We're just not seeing, with both of the team's skating skill, we're just not seeing a lot of room for the puck carrier today, other than those turnover stretch pass opportunities.
Well, very difficult in two well-coached teams and highly skilled, and something players talk about, coaches talk about, time and space, and both these teams don't like each other a lot, but they respect each other, and you want to take away the other team's time and space.
Fortino from Canada with a nice little crafty spin move, but the pass doesn't connect. The Americans trying to clear it out of the zone, unable to, as Fortino keeps it in. Out into the slot. It's tipped away by Jenner, but she did get her stick on the puck down in the dirty zone, and it's going to be a little bounce like that if they're going to get anything past Rooney.
The U.S. goaltender Rooney making some key saves, and names we talk about, Pelkey and Caleb Barnes, but the Canadian line, that bigger line as we like to talk about, is Spooner and Wakefield, getting some great opportunities off a turnover by the youngster Caleb Barnes.
3-on-2 into the zone, and it's a beautiful play.
Save.
Beautiful play by Rooney. The pass had come entering the left side to the far winger. The defense were split very, very wide, and it bounced out into the slot. Here's the replay. You can see how wide the defense are. That's what they're generally trying to avoid with the rush, but a real good point-blank shot by Fortino. Rooney did not get caught over pushing, and she was standing right there.
Well, a little bit of good luck and bad luck, and a good defensive play by Megan Keller, trying to take away the pass, and doing so, taking away the pass, but the puck bounced off her stick, going right up the middle to the Canadian defender, Laura Fortino, and you could tell, slamming her stick in a little bit of frustration, because you look back on a game, and if you don't win, you look back and you look at an opportunity like that where she had a prime scoring chance, but the goaltender Maddie Rooney, what another big save for the U.S. goaltender. And goaltenders, it's anticipation, it's being able to see the puck, and so much film and so much study, but you got to give a lot of credit to the goaltender Rooney in that, recognizing that Fortino wasn't in a position to really make a deke or make a play, and just pushing out, getting that good push and being square to the puck and taking away the angle, and another good save and no rebound opportunity.
We are at 9 minutes 51 seconds remaining, second period. 10:09 has elapsed, so basically the midpoint of the game. A lot's happened, but Chris, not a lot's happened. It's still 0-0, and it's anyone's ball game at this point. Super exciting with the end-to-end action, but very little in terms of special teams so far, with very few penalties called. So what is your guess as to the flavor of the game for the balance of this period? What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, just much of the same. And if you're Team Canada, you're saying to yourselves, and they're talking on the bench, let's keep doing the same thing. Let's keep getting it in. Let's get our taller, bigger forwards. Try and work the smaller defenders of the U.S. team down low. Try and make them play hard minutes in their end. And the U.S. side of things is, they got to get back to playing their game and getting that puck separation, getting the puck moving up to their forwards and using their speed and their transition.
Coin on the near wall, unable to get it past Augusta. It's kept in by the Canadians. Eventually pops out right onto the stick of Decker. Decker skates through the neutral zone and hits Coyne entering. Coyne trying to work to her forehand. Puck comes down low. We've got a penalty calling. Coyne threw the puck out in front, and Knight got a good crack at it. Genevieve Lacasse able to make the save. However, penalty leads to a power play chance for the Americans.
Well, and that's just what the doctor ordered for U.S. women's team. And that play was just all a result of Brianna Decker picking the puck up and just waiting, showing that poise and waiting for Kendall Coyne to open up and get open, and Kendall Coyne just quite simply just blowing by the Canadian defender. She's got speed like I don't think we've seen in a long time, and she just went around, took it to the net. Hillary Knight crashed the net looking for a rebound, and a frustration penalty against Team Canada.
Poulin cross-check. She back-checks very, very hard, and there's an instance where she was coming back into the play and found an American down in the dirty zone and pushed her down. U.S. power play for the tournament is 6 of 25, 24%. Canada has successfully killed 18 of 21, or 86%. So if you're the Americans, optimistically, you say even Canada, with one of the best penalty kills of the world, still gives up a goal 14% of the time. So Americans trying to take advantage. If they can get possession, work their way up ice, they'd like to set something up, as this is a much needed power play. They haven't had many scoring chances. Cameron Easy gets there first.
An interesting play after being hemmed into their own end, and you can tell they're trying to get the forward Kessel swinging behind the defender to get some speed, and then the recognition by the American defender, and basically icing the puck, but knowing you had the speed up front and from your forwards that could beat the Canadian defender to the puck.
Cameron Easy got there first. Great play there. I think it's Falzer gets knocked down, but before she gives up on the play, swung her stick to clear the zone. Otherwise, Canada has a breakaway opportunity. Patiently waiting from her backhand with a touch pass back to Bellamy. Right out, walking it in front, unable to get it past the goaltender is Hillary Knight. Coming off the half wall, working to her forehand, pass down to the skates of Barnes, but she quickly gets it onto her stick with a shot. Low save, easy save for Lacoste, but you can tell the constant motion from the Americans designed to disrupt the Canadian box. It's hard to stand there passively with all the Americans circling.
Yeah, it really is, and some good puck movement there and lateral movement and trading some confusion, and good shot by Barnes, but let's be honest, you're not going to score on a wrist shot from there. And just see the U.S. team, they have to get that presence. You got to get that player in front, and both these goaltenders are playing a good game, and if they can see the puck, they're going to stop it.
Barnes tries to keep it in the zone, but Canada able to clear to neutral. Here comes Turnbull. It's actually a 2-on-1 opportunity. Tries a little sauce pass, unable to connect, but they were generating a nice rush there shorthanded. Penalty winds down, 3-2-1, Canada full strength. Fake slap shot, tries to freeze the goaltender before shooting it into the leg pad. Real creative move there by Bellamy. Hesitation move, and almost got one by Lacoste.
Yeah, good shot and fake, and the goaltender didn't quite bite, and a couple good chances for the U.S. team on that power play, and the goaltender for Canada, as you mentioned, Genevieve Lacoste making the saves you need to make, and a bit of a chess match in this game, and both teams moving the puck around, getting some opportunities, and a good job, and then the back check and playing. If you look at this game, the Canadian team has had 3 2-on-1s, a 3-on-1. That was a shorthanded 2-on-1, but a good job by the American defenders and forcing the Canadians into a bad pass.
Chris, if Lacoste gives up a goal today, it will be the first. She's played 2 games in the Four Nations plus today's game. A goals against of 0 and a save percentage of 100.
Trying to jinx again. I know you do. That's it. Americans appreciate it. I know you're not superstitious whatsoever.
It's funny, you talk to people about this rivalry, and the Canadian supporters, Canadian fans really want to talk about the last Olympics. U.S. had a late 2-goal lead and end up Canada with one of the all hockey all time, one of the greatest comebacks ever, and an overtime win. Kevin Dineen was the captain. He's seen a lot of hockey in his day, and one of the highlights of his life. And Americans want to talk about the last 4 World Championships, and nobody really wants to talk about the last Olympics. So it's going to be an outstanding Olympic Games when they get to Korea in a few months. U.S. enters the zone, 3-on-2, working to her forehand, trying a swing pass back into Falzer, doesn't quite connect, but a lot of patience there from Panic. Do you think maybe a case of an overpass? She had the goalie moving.
Well, you 3-on-1 opportunity. You were looking for that pass, but sometimes you don't want to take yourself out of a prime opportunity. You're in the slot. Yeah, sometimes a shot's as good a passer as a couple guys have played with. We call it the shot pass, and it's a pass off. It's a shot that's
Off
a
the
pass
pads.
off the goaltender's pads. You've heard that before. There's something to keep an eye on as Canada's getting some chances in the offensive zone. Blair Turnbull went down and took a while to get back up, so we'll see if she's okay on the Canadian side of things, because that'll affect the lines.
Great play there by Megan Duggan, captain of the American team. You had Haley Irwin working to her forehand. She was trying to rip a shot, and right when she went to shoot, there was a little stick check and a steal from American captain Megan Duggan. Puck is now behind the goal. Both teams working on rolling line change with stoppage in play. Chris, 5:15 remains in the second period, still scoreless. First game today, we talked about coaches sometimes breaking the period into different segments. First 5 minutes, next 5 minutes. You know, we're coming up on the last 5 minutes of a period. Earlier today, there was a goal scored, just 15 seconds left in a period. Huge difference going to the locker room tied versus, one either way. So how do you as a team in that final segment of the second period work on getting those scoring chances without taking needless chances that lead to scoring chances the other direction?
I always call it the 3-pass rule, and I look at it coaching and your kids and younger kids is that you made 3 good passes for the most part. 3 good passes to get a scoring opportunity. So for the U.S. team, is no high risk maneuvers. Just move, get the puck moving, use your speed. You got Kendall Coyne. I mean, Brianna Decker at night. Look at the players that have so much speed for this team. Simplify your game. Straight lines, get the puck up to this fast forwards. And the defense, if you're going to pinch, it's got to be the 100% rule. The only way your defense is pinching is if 100% I can get that player. I can get the puck, or I can keep it in. And then, something we've seen a little bit of is, I like to see a little more selfishness out of all these women in these 2-on-1, 3-on-1 opportunities. There wants to set up and make that nice play, but we've seen a few instances where it's a missed pass or it gets redirected. So a little more selfishness in a good way in putting pucks on net.
Great neutral zone back pressure there from Kessel forces the turnover. U.S. able to eventually get possession entering the zone, 2-on-1, and it's into the back of the net. Hannah Brandt makes it 1-0. Team USA.
Well, transition off a turnover. And that line that we've been talking about for Canada has given them some success. It's Jenner, Spooner, and Wakefield. They're the victims of this turnover. And as you said, Hannah Brandt just waiting for her opportunity to create on a turnover. And I talked about being selfish. And a 2-on-1 chance, and Hannah Brandt just showing the poise and waiting for the Canadian goaltender to open up on the 5-hole. And a great instance of, the Canadian defender did a good job of playing the pass, and what you want to do as a defender, take the pass away, and quite frankly, just being selfish and firing a laser through the 5-hole.
Great pass from Danny Cameronese. She's going to get an assist. Not sure if there's a second assist, but Chris, we had a thrower today. It was an overtime win in the third place game for Sweden over Finland, and as we got deeper and deeper into this close game, it was 1-goal game, tie game. It just kept thinking, hey, the sun goes down, the stars come out. The great players make the great plays on the biggest stage. And I'm sitting here looking at my roster for Team USA, and it's really fun to try to figure out who's going to make those great plays. That was Hannah Brandt, 3 NCAA titles at the University of Minnesota. She was 4 years of college, finished in the top 10 in voting for the Patty Kazmaier every year. And she gets the assist from Cameronese. She played with her on 2 of those NCAA title teams. Top 10 twice for the Patty Kaz Award, penalty coming up on Canada. Take your pick. You look and same thing going up and down the Canadian roster. These are such accomplished players, world elite level, and they're capable of making this great plays. Not many scoring chances, but all of a sudden the window's slightly ajar. Oh my goodness. Did you see that centering pass off the skate?
A bit of a redirect, and I think what you're seeing right now is the U.S. team, they've awoken the giant. And a nice goal scored, and then back-to-back shifts, and Brianna Decker with a fantastic opportunity in the offensive zone, and some sustained pressure resulted in a Canadian penalty. And this is what you're waiting for. And then all the U.S. team has gotten a little life, and Canada's time, for the most part, and now they've gotten a little bit of life. We got some good opportunities now, power play opportunities. So, the U.S. could really do a good job of making them pay.
Nice shot there in the replay by Decker. U.S. gets a power play opportunity, cross-checking the call to Jocelyn Larocque. Minute 50 remains in that 3:10 in the period, and it's a back of the net goal. Guess who? Hannah Brandt.
Well, this is exactly what you didn't want to happen if you're Team Canada and for Team USA. Waiting for their opportunities, getting a chance on the power play, and figuring in that young lady you talked about earlier in the broadcast, Amanda Kessel, not getting a ton of ice time, but waiting, walking it in, walk. A shot pass on a redirect goes right onto the stick of, as you just said, Hannah Brandt, and bar down, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
Super exciting, 2 goals in quick succession. That one comes just 14 seconds into the power play. Much different ballgame. We talked about the final 5-minute session of the second period, if you break the game into segments like coaches do. It was tied moments ago. Now it's 2-0 U.S. Got the chant going, Team USA. Super turn of events here for the Americans. What's it look like from north of the border? What's going on, jerseys in red and on that bench?
Well, here, Team Canada, you're saying, what just happened? We've been playing a great game. They've had some great opportunities, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, and really pressed the play for a lot of this game. And you're sitting there saying, what happened? I'm having a bad dream right now. And, as we said, you have a U.S. team that has a ton of talent, a ton of speed, and are getting a chance and capitalizing on opportunities. So for Canada, you got to just, this last 2.5 minutes of this period, you got to look for something positive. You got to get back, because they were playing almost a perfect game, not giving up really any prime scoring chances, getting some play down in the offensive zone, and getting some cycles. And now you're looking at, you're down 2-0 all of a sudden, and as you said, in a matter of minutes, that you got to leave this second period with something positive.
And Canada's pinned back in their own end now that it's 5-on-5 even strength, so it's not going to be any immediacy to turning the momentum unless they can generate a goal here. The 2 goals go in the books, Brandt from Cameron-Easy and Bellamy.
What a save by Rooney off Wakefield. Nice little give and go, and then Rooney flashes out the left pad.
Oh, Knight with a nice pass over to Coyne. Tries to come back tonight, but it's intercepted by the Canadians. So first one goes in the books, Brandt from Cameron-Easy and Bellamy. Second one, power play, Brandt from Kessel and Emily Falzer with the assist.
Jennifer Wakefield, she's going to have nightmares about that. What a great chance for her in the slot, and then another 2-on-1 chance for the U.S.
Oh, look at that patience from Marvin. What a great play. She held, and it ended up sliding under the hole in the stick for Pankowski, but it's because of not moving and the patience, the poise, that Marvin ends up getting that opening to get the puck over there to Pankowski.
Yeah, great patience, but on the other side of things, Natalie Spooner, a great back check to force the puck off the stick, and these plays where things are starting to open up. Canada's got to press, they got to try and get something done, and on the other side of it for the U.S. is they're counterpunching, and they're recognizing that Canada's pushing the play a little bit, trying to get that goal, and the U.S. team doing a great job of counterpunching and getting some opportunities going the other way.
It's interesting, we had 4 teams here, so roughly 100 players between, and nobody had a birthday during any of these games. Pankowski was the closest. She turned 23 last week. Member of the last 2 World Championship teams, so she's got some gold medals, but it will be her first Olympics when she gets to South Korea in a few months. Chipped out to neutral zone, little touch pass there from Cameron-Easy, and it's Brandt over, unable to get a real good shot. It was a beautiful play from Cameron-Easy to get it to Brandt, but Kessel seemed to have kind of lost her balance with her feet and a little awkward, not really able to get as good a shot as she wanted.
Yeah, just a little indecision from Kessel as to when to shoot, and realized he was getting closed off. But, again, the transition, the speed in the transition of this U.S. team, and having it there again, another 2-on-1 opportunity against the Canadians.
Credit Lacoste. I saw the replay, and a lot of times when a player freaks out or loses her wits about them, it's because it wasn't what they saw. So it wasn't what they thought they would see. I think she looked up and she saw the goaltender and was expecting a white space. So Lacoste with a nice push over there to get in the way and make the easy save. 3-2-1, period ends. Shots now all of a sudden, U.S. pulling away a little bit. It's 20-14, and more importantly on the scoreboard, 2-0. So Chris, they're going to the locker room. Give me the thoughts if you're Rob Stauber with Team USA, or on the other side, Laura Schuler for Team Canada.
Well, I think for Team USA, you're kind of saying we're a little bit lucky to be up 2-0, and we gave up to a lot of odd play in rushes, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s against. We can't do that. And then the flip side is, hey, we had some opportunities, and we capitalized on our opportunities, and we got some momentum, and we totally took over the game in the last 4 or 5 minutes or so. So that's the U.S. mindset. And the Canadian mindset is, now what happened? Really, they were controlling the play for the most part, and you've seen this. It doesn't matter what level of competition, and if you continue to get chances, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, as the Canadians were getting, and you don't bury them. How many times have we seen that when they go back the other way and the other team scores? So, the Canadian side of things is we got to continue to play basically the same way. They just haven't capitalized on their opportunities. I think that has to be their mindset.
Second intermission. Want to let everybody know, fans, you can help all U.S. national teams by donating to support the cause at usahockeyfoundation.com. Every dollar counts, and your support is greatly appreciated. Again, help support Team USA today with your tax-deductible donation at usahockeyfoundation.com. Going to leave everybody with a brief interview. Had an opportunity to talk to American goaltender Nicole Hensley. She had a great showing for the U.S. in her game on Friday. Did not get a chance to dress today, but very much a member of this team. And here are some thoughts from American goaltender Nicole Hensley about the residency program here in Florida, looking forward to the upcoming Olympics, and Team USA in general. So we'll be back in a little bit. Here's Nicole Hensley.
I'm here with Nicole Hensley after a shutout in a 5-0 win over Sweden. Nicole, you didn't face a lot of shots, but you definitely caught some good ones and made the saves. So tell us a little bit about what it's like coming in. There's 3 goaltenders in the mix, and you're not getting to play every game.
Yeah, we have 3 really good goaltenders, really capable of stepping into any situation, whether we're getting a lot of shots or not very many. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the position, is all 3 of us work together really well and push each other during practice, because we want that ice time. But at the same time, we're all very supportive of each other. And yeah, like tonight, obviously our team played very well and controlled the puck almost the entire game, and that makes my job really easy. And just trying to communicate, get our D-goalie exchanges going, and, just try and get better every time we get on the ice.
Loved watching you play today, not only for the saves, but also for the visual shock, a seizure-inducing pad scheme with all the stripes. And it's not just the leg pads, but the face helmet cage and the arms and the blocker and the catcher. So tell me about the pads. How long have you had them? Was that something you were wearing at Lindenwood, or is it more recent? And, I want to hear about the pad scheme, because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've seen a couple goaltenders do stripes before, and that was something that I thought was pretty cool, and it's not done very often. So I thought that might be something I could do for me, and it would be unique, and maybe it'll make me look a little taller too. But had the pads for about a year now, and about to start breaking in my new ones, which are the exact opposite colors but the same stripes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all your time, and best of luck in the run-up to South Korea.
Thanks for having me.
Team White, just go for the goal. Nice. Oh, Team White, you can take it right here. Team White is pressing. All right, Team Blue, if you can take it the whole length of the ice, you might just have it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, he takes him out. Oh, we might have a Cats game here. 10, 9, 8, 7. I guess whoever's going to get over the red line. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are going to give it to Team Blue today for our bubble wall. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Putting on quite the show out here for you. Time is now. All right, making its final voyage around the rink tonight, it is the Chick-fil-A Fan Zam. Taking our trip here, we want to welcome the Weber family. Enjoy the ride, guys, and our thanks to Chick-fil-A. The Time Is Now Tour is brought to you by our friends at Toyota, who are pleased to support Team USA as they chase their dreams on and off the ice. Toyota, let's go places.
Up before the sun every day. Committed to getting it right. No shortcuts. Ever. Hard work, focus, and one goal: to be the best. Is it worth it?
When your coffee tastes like this, yeah, I'd say it's worth it.
Freshly ground, freshly brewed all day. Brewed for this. America runs on Dunkin'.
Ground fresh, brewed fresh, all day. Smooth from the first sip to the last. As the official coffee shop of USA Hockey, Dunkin' Donuts coffee is the perfect go-to all season long. So grab a hot or iced coffee, an original blend or dark roast, and get ready for game day. From the drop of the puck to the final buzzer, Dunkin' Coffee is brewed for this. Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee shop of USA Hockey.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with Liberty Mutual, all I needed to do to get an estimate was snap a photo of the damage, and voila.
Voila. I wish my insurance company had that. Wait, hold it, boys. There's supposed to be 3 of you. Where's your brother? Where's your brother? Hey, where's Charlie? Charlie?
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual is proud to offer USA Hockey members special savings on auto and home insurance. Visit libertymutual.com/USA Hockey to get your free quote. Liberty Mutual Insurance, proud sponsor of USA Hockey. USA Hockey would like to thank our friends at Nike for being a sponsor of the U.S. Women's National Team during their quest for gold in Pyeongchang. Nike, just do it. Fans, make a donation to the USA Hockey Foundation's Friends of Women's Hockey Fund that directly impacts the future of women's hockey in the USA. We're grateful for your commitment and support. To make a gift, visit usahockeyfoundation.com.
All right, fans, I am here with Pat Kelleher. He is the director of our USA Hockey program. And Pat, welcome, obviously, to the Bay Area. But our question for you, how have you seen the sport of hockey? How have you seen it grow in this part of the country, but really especially here in Florida?
Well, having the Tampa Bay Lightning here has been a huge factor in the growth. The success that they had as a franchise helps Ringsby develop around the area, which gives more access to kids and adults to come play the game and get involved with USA Hockey.
I mean, obviously, we're a firm believer in if you build it, they will come. And Florida Hospital Center Ice has been the home of our USA Hockey program for the women's national team. How many other venues across the country did you look at before you decided on Wesley Chapel?
We looked at various parts of the country. We've been in Minnesota with the residency program before, Boston before the last Olympics, and just felt that it'd be great to go to a newer market, try and open up some more doors, show our game, and show these tremendous athletes to more people in various communities.
When you say newer, you mean warmer, correct?
The players certainly love that. The warmth is great, the weather's fantastic, and not a bad place to get ready for the Olympics.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Kelleher, your director of USA Hockey. Thank you so much, and go USA!
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the
Once
master
again,
of my
let's
sea.
welcome back to the ice for the third period, Team Canada and your Team USA.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
We're back for the third period, and I know we're not going to have a lot of time at the end as we're covering the players of the game and some final thoughts from the exciting tournament. So wanted to lead off by saying thanks to a few people that afforded the opportunity to do this. I've really enjoyed every minute of it. USA Hockey, it's David Fisher. Hockey TV, the vendor, is Chris Thompson. Got an expert here, czar of all electric and electronic, is Kason Bryden. And, really have enjoyed working with him. So want to thank everybody. It's been wonderful working these games. It's happy but sad. We've got the championship games, super exciting, but at the same time, it's going to end very shortly here. Just one period to go. U.S. has a lead 2-0. Puck is dropped and we're off. Chris, when you played in the NHL, a 2-goal lead was considered safe. And, some rule changes, maybe not quite that way anymore. Here, if you're Coach Rob Stauber for the United States, do you start to play a dead puck style, or do you just leave the pressure on the Canadians and play the way that got you this lead?
Well, you don't make ill-advised passes like right there. What you do is you don't sit back, and that's really the mindset you have to have. Is you look at solid plays. Can I make this pass? If so, I do, and if not, no if and or buts plays. Like maybe I can make this play. So no hope plays, but just play your game. Play it with speed and counterpunch. And by that, I mean, Canada's going to have to push the pace. They're the ones down by 2. They're going to have to start taking some chances and taking some risks. So when they do, in the American side of things, that's when you're going to get your opportunities. And you might get your 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s or 3-on-1s going the other way.
Interesting theme of the week has been how many people, post-game players, coaches have talked about staying out of the box, staying out of the box, staying out of the box. In the earlier match, 11 penalties called on the Americans against 7 for the Canadians. It was actually, Rob Stauber had a little bit different tone, just telling the ladies, keep playing the way you're playing. A lot of times the penalties are a result of a lot of puck pressure. So I think Canada needs to push the pace, not just to generate scoring chances, but also maybe enough to draw the Americans into a penalty, not, a good penalty, not a bad penalty. They're just forced to defend and may end up getting the Canadians man advantage. So those are some things we'll be looking for in this, the final period. 2 minutes have elapsed, and U.S. is pinned in their zone looking for a breakout opportunity. Pass from Callie Flanagan gets all the way over to her partner Keller. Left back for Flanagan, and they're trying to find a way out of the zone. Strong forecheck from the Canadians. Pressure along the wall. Puck pops out. Stacy in pursuit, and she is chasing Kessel. Swarming, I think, is the way I would describe it. Canadians so far.
Save.
Huge save. Kick save into the slot. Nobody in red there, so the Americans clear. But, if the message was come out swarming, it was heard loud and clear by the ladies in red.
Just need a little more intensity in the game.
Good night. Oh. Good night. She ran into Poulin. I think that is, it's probably Hannah Brandt, the goal scorer, but it's like she hit a wall. Poulin, we'll see it on the replay. Poulin definitely had good solid base on the inside edge, and Brandt just got snuffed out.
No, unfortunately, sometimes it just wrong place, wrong time, and you can't stop it. As you mentioned, this is a start that Canada needed, and getting it on the forecheck, and just not a lot of desperation in the U.S. women's game right now. They need to get back to, you want to possess the puck, but you want to move it. And I think Canada's been on them, and some good forechecking plays, and the U.S. really needs to get back into their game and settle down and just get a little more. It just seems the intensity is not right there, and they're like, I haven't seen that in this period so far. So, they better be careful. A great opportunity by the Canadian Stacy on a pass out. Another great save by the goaltender Rooney.
Face off to Rooney's left with the American ice. Thrown out of the circle, stepping in now is Megan Duggan. 3 NCAA titles at Wisconsin and 2 Clarkson Cups with the Boston Blades in the CWHL. Veteran with a lot of experience, champion at many levels. Duggan staying with the national team in quest of her first Olympic gold. Really about the only thing that's lacking from her career resume. Pelkey, all-time leading scorer at University of Vermont, sneaking up the left-hand side, tries to chip it in the middle to Duggan, but Canada manages to break it out, throw it to neutral zone where it slides into the American end. D-to-D pass. Bellamy over to Falzer, and they're content patiently, as we've talked about all tournament, to make several passes in their own end before finding a lane to bring it up ice.
Turnover, Canada going the other way. And a good job by the defenseman, Lee Stecklin, closing off the Canadian player, going down the wing, and this is where we need clean exits for the U.S. team. A nice play here up, and just a bit of a miss pass to Hillary Knight. But you want to see those clean exits if you're the U.S. women's team. You want that one pass, that one good pass or 2 good passes to get out of your own end, and they haven't seen a lot of that so far in this period, and they want to see more of that. And there's just a hustle play right here.
Interesting play by Wakefield just to ring the boards when there's no one on the right-hand side. Even more interesting play that's allowed to go the length of the ice and not whistle down for icing. So I'm not sure what they saw that I didn't. But nonetheless, Canada advances the puck 200 feet down to the American end, trying to set up a forecheck. Unable to do so before the Americans clear out to neutral zone. And it's Larocque trying to chip it up the near wall. It's onto the stick of Turnbull. Turnbull back to Larocque. She hits Bram. Bram crosses the red, gains the blue. Wide angle shot. Rooney gloves that one easily. Face-off now comes to her right. Canada trying to get some sustained pressure in the American end. I'm surprised by shooting high there. Low shots generate rebounds and tip chances. Wrist shot 5 feet in the air is kind of a surprising way to end the play.
Interesting how, talking about that, putting pucks on that, you want low shots for rebounds. But interesting how the goaltender Rooney played that, where she almost was going to go down and then popped up and recognized the shot was going to be high. So, putting pucks on net, sometimes the puck's going to bobble on you, and depending on the curve you have on your stick, and some people like the big curves, and if the puck's bobbling at all, more than not with those bigger curves, that puck's going to elevate rather quickly.
Nice tic-tac-toe passing winds up to Pankowski getting out of the American end. Canadians dump it in again. There's ice waved off. as they threw it the length of the ice. Now Marvin with a pass on the backhand trying to hit Pankowski, but a little bit too far. 2/3 of a line change. Pankowski stays out for the Americans. Canada back into their own end will have to come up ice against fresh legs like Danny Cameronisi and Hannah Brandt. Good to see Brandt back. She ran into a wall there with Marie-Philippe Poulin moments ago.
Yeah, good to see she's doing okay. And 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes into this period, and for the Canadian side of things, you're happy. You're in on the forecheck. You're playing most of the time in the offensive zone, but not a lot of shots given up. And on the U.S. side of things, they're playing more than they'd like to in the defensive zone, but haven't really given up very many prime offensive chances. So a positive for them and how they're defending this pushback from the Canadian team.
Chris, we've talked a lot about her this week. Kayla Barnes recently added 2 weeks ago to the residency program training for United States. Interesting that it's the twins. It's Jocelyn Lamoureux and Monique Lamoureux that have been scratches. Monique Lamoureux Mirando has been defense this Olympic cycle. And believe it or not, I'm not sure if you've been looking at some of the archived rosters for Team USA, but it was Gigi Marvin was expected to play defense as well, and we've seen her to forward. So coaches Strott, Stauber, and Mara have been experimenting with some things, bringing in Barnes, and Barnes has played well enough that I believe she's shown she deserves, despite 18 years old, a spot on this team, and that could mean some cut coming for an experienced player, and not many with as much experience as the Lamoureux twins. Monique Lamoureux Mirando listed as defense, Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson at forward. The two scratches today out of the American skaters. And interesting thing, at University of Minnesota, North Dakota, where they went to college, Jocelyn was a little bit more points, 285 to 265. And sibling rivalry between the twins. Monique has scored more points for the American team with 135 versus 129. So didn't get to see them this tournament. They're scratched today, and we'll be interested to see what happens with the roster formation in the rest of the Olympic prep. But it's got to be nice to know you got two people in your back pocket with as much experience as they do, multiple world championships, Olympic medalists that U.S. has in addition to the ladies that we've seen this week.
Penalty upcoming to the Canadian Wakefield, and just maybe a bit of frustration and hitting the American player in a vulnerable position, Megan Dugan, and that's a result of there were some opportunities by the Canadian line of Wakefield, and just an ill-advised hit from behind, but previous to that there was a couple maybe perceived missed trips. Where Wakefield came by the goaltender, and Rooney may or may not have gotten a piece of it and fell down. So a little bit of frustration there, I think, in that penalty. And the Americans again, can they be opportunistic? Where at the end of the second period, where they waited for their chances, they got their opportunities, they capitalized, they got another opportunity, they capitalized. Can they do that now on the power play?
Chris, we had a in-arena trivia question a little bit earlier today. And its answer is Jenny Potter, Jenny Schmigdahl, her maiden name. Question was, who's the leading scorer in the American for Olympic players? She had 11 goals, 21 assists, 32 points. Follow-up question for you, Jenny Potter, where's she from?
Let me think. Is it somewhere by the Dakotas?
It's.
Yes.
Not quite that far west.
Is it in a state that has 10,000 lakes?
Yes.
Might have to go with either Edina or Minneapolis.
Yeah, so Jenny Potter, Edina, Minnesota. Very good, Chris. She is today's trivia answer as the leading American scorer for the Olympics. And, heard some chatter at the rink the other day from, a lady. She's kind of a, godmother of women's hockey in Florida. And, what she said was Potter felt she had another Olympics in her last cycle and, very frustrated wasn't a part of the team. And, it just shows the level of competitiveness. When you're on these North American teams, the U.S., Canada, you don't necessarily get to decide when you're done. You've played with these guys, Sammy Salo played in a lot of Olympics, and he told me one time, Teemu Solano's done when he says he's done. He's able to play as long as he wants, and Riikka Vallela, we saw her for Finland, 44 years old. The U.S. and Canada are so competitive that even great players don't get to play as long as they want. So, Jenny Schmigdal-Potter, the leading scorer all time in Olympics for the U.S., 32 points. We'll see how long that record holds up.
Very few players get to end their careers the way they want to, and
you played with one. You played with one. The Storybrooke ending.
Which one?
You know who I'm talking about.
Number 77 to 7.
Yeah. Anyway, continue your story.
No, yeah, but that was interesting enough. In that is that he got traded. Ray Bourque we're talking about. He traded Colorado, and we lost in 7 games to Dallas. And he wasn't sure if he was going to come back, and then he came back, and we're going to finish first overall because that game 7 was in Dallas, and we had to hit a couple posts. It was, we're going to finish first overall, and so if we have a game 7, it'll be in our building. Sure enough, down 3-2 against Jersey, and won game 6, came back for game 7, and Ray ended up hoisting the cup, and so there was an instance of that. But again, going back to a good problem to have for the Canadians and the U.S. women's team is that you got tough decisions to make, and it's very difficult at times that there's a sense of loyalty. You have these players that, as you mentioned, Olympic cycles have played for you for 3, 6, 8, however many years, and then you got these younger players knocking at the door, and what do you go with? Do you go with the youth? Do you go with experience? A combination of both, and very difficult decisions to be made. And I'd hate to be the ones doing it because you're going to have some very ecstatic and happy people, and you're going to have some broken hearts.
Marvin to Pankowski. Pankowski shot, oh my gosh, it almost went in. She had a wrist shot attempt, and stick deflected up in the air. It was a slow pooch up almost over the goaltender Lacoste. Does not go in nonetheless. Still 2-0 Americans lead. Coming up on the midpoint of the third period. Talking about who's playing and who's not. Lamoureux twins, some of the more experienced Americans. On the other side, you just mentioned the blend of younger players with older. Amy and Sarah Potomac, 18 and 19-year-old sisters for the Canadians, unfortunately scratched this game. Both looked very good earlier, so got to be nice if you're Laura Schuler for the Canadians, looking at how many outstanding players they have that are capable of playing at this level. However, the decision not to cut earlier on and have more players a part of the team for a longer period of time is going to make it much more difficult for her. Other teams are pretty well set. She's got a lot of work to do to whittle this roster down. We mentioned Daou not playing, Krzyzniak not playing, Sarah Nurse, Erin Ambrose, Micah Zandy Hart, Potomac sisters. A lot of great players that are still in the discussion for making it South Korea, not dressed up today, and not going to be easy for Schuler.
Oh, it's a good puck movement by Canada.
Huge save, Rooney.
High-low, yeah, Rooney. Great push out, great push across.
It's a minor penalty on Kelly Panic, gives the Canadian team a much-needed power play. We hit the midpoint of the third period, 10 minutes remaining. 96 seconds in the player advantage for Canada. Scrum along the wall, eventually pops out onto Megan Keller. Keller hits the boards out to the blue line, does clear, and Larocque, despite her best efforts, unable to keep it in. It squeezed out about 4 inches. Is a penalty upcoming here?
Interesting to see the scrum on the boards. Yeah, and I don't know if they're getting both of them, but some push and some push back. You see the American player down. And Brianna Decker, and I guess she might be the only one.
Well, this is what you need if you're Canada. They're gonna have 79 seconds of 2-man, and then another 41 seconds. Well, it is coincidental. Yeah. That's only the second time. We did 8 games this week as Four Nations Cup. Only the second time that there has been coincidentals. And Chris, matching minors, it will lead to a 4-on-3, right? I thought earlier when they were matching minors, we played 4-on-4.
Yeah, they were, but they were already out of power play.
So when it's already on the
power play, yeah.
Pardon me, learning the international rules as we go here. I thought we would play 4-on-3. It's going to be 5-on-4, matching minors, 2 people sent off. Canada's still on the power play for another 70 seconds.
Yeah, a big turning point for both of these teams, and just looking at the penalties that just transpired, and retaliatory penalties in the Canadian Wakefield getting on the forecheck. And here we go.
Oh, beautiful goal there. Laquette into the slot. Shot low. Believe it's Laura Stacey. Cuts the margin in half. Canada scores. Now 2-1.
You could just sense
Augusta.
You could just sense something was going to happen. And the Canadians, a little bit of pushback here. It's just making limitation and time and space. And we're talking about this coming in on a 2-on-1, just waiting. Actually, a 3-on-1. 2 passing opportunities, 2 passing options for the Canadian Laquette. And going with the second option, the trailer, and not much that the goaltender Rooney could do. And basically just trying to get a piece of it to push across on a one-timer. And it's a big shift now for the Americans.
Augusta with the goal, and it's a new ball game. 2-goal lead in the third is quite a bit different than a 1-goal lead. 9 minutes to go in the game. Canada swarming, keeping the puck in the American end. New lease on life, hopping their step, if you will, and it is now 2-1.
An interesting line matchups and who's playing against who. And you look at you got the Ponick line with Dugan and Pelkey out against what the Canadians have played a lot of. And you just go through. We got our line formations and line charts and who's listed as first. But the second line for the Canadians, Wakefield, Jenner, and Spooner, been very active in creating and being disruptive. They go to them right after the power play goal. And the Americans counteract with the Ponick, Pelkey, and Dugan line. So a lot of size on that second line for Team Canada, and a little less size and some speed for that American line. And it'll be interesting to see if the Americans want to continue with that matchup. But big part of the game here. In the second half of the third period, a game where not a lot has been going on for Canada other than good forechecking, but not a lot of prime opportunities. And all of a sudden, a couple, not good penalties, I'd say, on the American side of things. All of a sudden, it's just a 1-goal hockey game. So it's a big part of the game, John.
You mentioned earlier the blend of, older and younger players. It's one thing to get them on the team together. It's another when you start trying to make lines. Very interesting. Pelkey, I would describe her style as spark plug. She's an energy player, smaller stature, does a lot of penalty killing. Her center woman, Kelly Panic, also first Olympics. Kelly Panic has won 2 NCAA titles at the University of Minnesota. It's going to be her first Olympics. Interesting, you have those 2 first Olympics with Captain Megan Duggan. Megan Duggan, much more experienced. So I think it's an interesting approach for them to put them together with older and younger on one line.
Well, that's what you want. You want a little bit of speed, youthful exuberance, and that veteran leadership. And sometimes some teams elect to go with the, as they call it, the kid line or the veteran line. So there's so many options you can have with the depth that the Americans and North Americans possess.
Penalty coming on the Americans. Lacoste gets to the bench. Canada gets the 6th skater out there. Puck into the corner, eventually touched, possessed by Pelkey. We get a stoppage, but man, oh man, what a big change in momentum in just the last minute and a half. Canada goes on the power play after a hooking call to
Keller.
The American Keller, and down 2-1. They could square it here with a power play goal.
The Americans, you gotta contain your emotions. This U.S. women's team, you gotta contain it. You don't need these penalties, and need a big penalty kill. Good anticipation there by the American defender Casey Bellamy, and anticipating the pass, and playing a little feisty, but you got to control and not too much, because you can't afford to get down to a 2-man to 2-woman situation, 2-player.
It's interesting. The Americans are trying to get take some slappers along the wall, and it's banking into Canadians. It was Laquette that kept it in at the point, and then once behind the net. So Canada able to get possession, setting something up down into the corner, and we're she's met by a heavy forecheck there from Casey Bellamy. The Americans doing a good job keeping on the perimeter. Comes over weak side for a shot from Marie-Philippe Poulin, Canadian captain.
Well, some interesting looks here for this Canadian side is that there's passing and fake passing, and so the time before Poulin had the opportunity. Well, there's the Canadian Johnston in front of her that elected to let the pass go through. So trying to be a little deceitful in what they're doing and some of the puck movement, but a good job by the Americans so far.
It was huge there by Barnes to clear the zone. The Americans, I've watched the penalties all tournament. It seems like there's two halves to it. The attacking team tries to get fresh personnel out for the second minute. The Americans, if they weren't going to be able to clear the zone there, were going to get into that second minute with the same personnel. Barnes threw it the length of the ice, got the fresh 4, and now it's much easier to defend. We're down to 25 seconds remaining in that Canadian advantage. Ripped clean there by Kessel. Crafty play by the veteran, just stealing it, and that's going to take care of most of the rest of the penalty. Just 15 seconds remain now for Team Canada.
Pick in the pocket of Ellie Spooner, and then will be one last rush, about 8 seconds to go, and yet again another good, strong defensive play by the Americans, and now transitioning back 2-on-2 until the third Canadian gets back, and then a smart play here by Hillary Knight, just killing the clock. And there's no different way to describe it. You're not trying to score. You're not trying to make a play. You're just killing the clock and doing a great job of that and killing off the remainder of that penalty kill.
It was a great play defensively by Falzer that got the puck out of the zone. And one thing I want to mention is we've seen a number of times today, I don't know that there's another player in the tournament that enters the zone with as much poise as Alex Carpenter. It's, you see it in the NHL today with Patrick Kane. It's hard to play the game at a fast speed, but it's rare that somebody can all of a sudden, whenever they touch the puck, everything slows down. And, she had an assist earlier on one of the goals, and right there, entering the zone, made a beautiful play. Carpenter, a lot of poise when she enters zone entry.
Yeah, that's what you want. And as a coach,
offside.
Maybe not as much poise there, making Augusta a little bit too excited. And, as a coach, even players, is that, if you want to make that crisscross play at the offensive blue line, you got to get the blue line first. Otherwise, you're forcing your teammate into an offside situation.
5:40 remains. We get a little bit of a lull in the action. Very impressed at the level of play across the whole tournament, and never disappointed when the Americans play the Canadians. U.S. won earlier this week, 4-2 final. Today, 2-1. Earlier, the exhibition games, the U.S. won 5-2 and then lost 5-1. So, Chris, these are great rivals, even matchups. They're going to play a few more times before they get to Canada, before they get to South Korea for the Olympics. When they get to South Korea, get a load of this. Their pool includes Russia, which is just on the outside of the medal hopefuls, looking to surprise with a medal finish, and the Finns, a clear world number 3 right now. So, it's good that they play this level of competition, because they're in the group of death when they get to South Korea.
Yeah, no game, an easy game in that grouping, as you mentioned. So there'll be some broken hearts. Let's just say that. You want to play against good players. You want to play against good competition all the time, and leading up to that. And you're seeing that again. A great game we were privy to the other night in a 2-on-1 situation.
Bolan. Oh, and it's a open hand knocking it toward the goal as she tried to get control of it. Pretty exciting there. What led to the play, Chris, Hannah Brandt got to the blue line, stood up by the Canadian defenders. They've been very stout as the Americans have come up through the neutral zone this game.
Just a good defensive play by the defender for the Americans, Megan Keller, and the back check, the back pressure. Poulin is a extremely fast player for the Canadian team, and just the back pressure and able to get back and forcing her into a tough pass, and so the 2-on-1 situation weren't able to get a good shot off.
We enter the final 5 minutes of regulation time. Canada trails 2-1. U.S. is pinned into their own end. Slight lead on the scoreboard, a slight lead on the shot clock, but as we saw earlier, it's leveling out. There's penalty coming. Canada has gotten a lot of shots where all of a sudden it's not an imbalance. 21-17, U.S. has more shots than Canada, as minor penalty called on Canada's 26. Emily Clark goes off. Did you see the call, Chris? I missed it.
I was just in around the net, and one of those puck battles we talk about, and just a needless play when you're going for the puck and a little whack and a push.
Okay,
and just the stick on the foot. And sometimes you sell it, and you can't say, you're not certain or not, but just one of those penalties, and you're trying to equalize this game. And, good job by the Americans. And, good battle. And we see Barnes going back for the puck. Just a needless penalty for the Canadians. We'll see if the Americans, they'd sure like to capitalize on this. Just a little over 4.5 minutes to go in this game.
If you're a clock watcher, that's a huge, huge development. We are into the final 5 minutes. Canada had some nice momentum after the goal by Augusta, and you take 2 minutes off the clock, all of a sudden we'll be down into the final 3 minutes of the game. So we'll see what happens. U.S. definitely doesn't want to give up a shorty. Whether they score or not isn't as important as just running time off. We're down to 80 seconds remaining in the player advantage and coming up on the 4-minute mark remaining in the game. Point on the near wall, down into the corner. They're content to run the perimeter very patiently, working around the Canadian box.
Oh, they fish.
Puck hits one of the referees, and it gets out to the blue zone, unable to get some sticks on it to slide it past Lacoste. Barnes goes far wall, back to Barnes. Now near side, pump fake, and it's a beautiful goal. Third chance there. It's a shot from Bellamy. Coyne got a stick on it, and eventually it's into the back of the net. I think it goes to American Hillary Knight. Hillary Knight puts the Americans ahead 3-1 with a power play goal. Just 3:41 remains. Hillary Knight.
Well, a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of good luck for the Americans, and they're a little different look to this power play. And Knight and Decker playing a little give and go behind the goal line. They're finally getting it up to the point of the blue line. And the American defender, Casey Bellamy, shooting the puck on net. It kind of gets blocked, and the puck, a little bit of puck luck going right to Knight in front. 3-1 lead now for the Americans, and time is running out for the Canadians. So just a good effort play, right place, right time for Hillary Knight.
Well, Canada could never, ever, ever come back from 2 goals down late against the United States and win a game, could they? Little joke there. That's how the last Olympics ended.
Yep.
U.S. had a late lead like this. So far from over, but Hillary Knight puts the Americans up 3-1. We're now at 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game. Canada, it'll be interesting to see how quickly they go to get her out. Lacoste still in the net. It goes in the books as Knight from Coyne and Bellamy. Knight from Coyne and Bellamy. Chris, we hadn't talked about her, called her name really a lot today. Hillary Knight, the first American to be the most valuable player of the Canadian Women's Hockey League 2013, first American to be MVP. She had 47 goals in just 41 games when 2011 NCAA title for Wisconsin. I think that's indicative of the depth of talent for these teams. Knight with a huge goal there, hopefully seals the game. Canada now goes on the penalties, so I think that's probably going to be a safe insurance goal in this American hopeful win. And it's Knight with all those accolades that plays a bit part all game and steps up at the late moments with a huge play like that.
That's what you look for on bigger stages and big games, or what players step up, and Knight's showing her ability to do that. And, a power play opportunity, and that line getting arrested. I anticipate they'll be going right back out just from what I was seeing on the bench. And an ill-advised penalty again by the Canadians in Wakefield, who's played a pretty gritty game, a feisty game, but you cannot take those offensive zone penalties in the offensive zone. So U.S. back on the power play, and this could they could ice this game right now with a goal, and not even a goal, but just keeping the puck away and not throwing away and trying to eat up as much clock as humanly possible.
Barnes short pass, exiting the zone. Americans come up through neutral to Decker. Tries to connect with Hillary Knight over on the near wall, and puck is slapped down below the end line. We're at the 5 second mark. Just 55 seconds remaining in that man advantage, but U.S. doesn't need to score. 2-goal lead. They're content to just run out the clock, and as long as they're down here, it's going to be impossible for the Canadians to get Lacoste out of the net for the extra skater.
Yeah, I like this puck movement, high-low, D to D, down to the half wall. There's no need. The Americans, Canadians have to chase. They got to try and create a turnover, and as you see that, if the Americans continue to be smart.
Penalty down player in the slot is going to lead to another penalty in the Canadians. Americans get an extra skater to the ice as Maddie Rooney made it to the bench, but we get a stoppage of play, and a down player in the corner looks like Coyne.
Yeah, it could have been another penalty there where the defender had her stick actually got caught. You know, the tuck of the blade of the hockey skater's stick was caught in the middle of that, the blade.
So U.S. suited up 7 defenders today. We didn't call her name a lot. Megan Bozek, you know, 2 NCAA titles at Minnesota. A lot of these girls played on the Gophers together. Top 3 finalists for the Patty Kazmaier Award. So Bozek also in the mix with Barnes, the newcomer, and the rest of the American defenders. It's, you know, a lot of depth, I think, where maybe they entered this tournament, Stauber and Stout and Strott and Mara, with concerns about the depth on defense. And it's nice to know that, you know, they exit. I don't think defense is a question mark for them. You know, Keller's another name. We didn't talk about her a lot today. 2-time first-team All-America at Boston College. She won the Camry Granado Award as Hockey East top player. So, you know, some of my final thoughts are just about how the Americans came into this tournament with maybe a few questions. Oh, it's a beautiful weak side goal. Shot off the pass, back of the net. 4-1 U.S.
Well, Amanda Kessel, and just good puck movement, and she's got an knack for finding the back of the net. And you can see the talents that the Americans possess. So just bad penalties by the Canadian women, and you cannot continue to take penalties and go down 5-on-4 and 5-on-3. Just some great puck movement, and Bells are just waiting, and the seam pass across, and the one-timer by Kessel. She's not going to miss that from there. Just a great shot, top shelf, right where Mama hides the cookies.
I like that puck movement on the power play. I talked to kids and coaching them about the empty net goal. You know, if you can get the puck movement laterally, it's hard for the defense and the goaltenders to keep up. A lot of space to shoot in there. Almost looked like, you know, Stamkos in this building shooting off the pass. So beautiful goal by Amanda Kessel. That seals it. 40 seconds remaining. U.S. now leads 4-1. You know, Chris, I was trying to get into some final thoughts because the game's winding down here. Sure. And I think the U.S. maybe had some questions entering the tournament. I think they've answered those. I think they exit the Four Nations Cup feeling very good about where they are in the Olympic prep. Why don't you give me your thoughts about your homeland? How does Canada see this tournament for them and the rest of the run-up until South Korea?
Devastating. They see it as devastating because they lost to their arch rivals, the Americans. Now, I get a little bit of joking in there, but just, you know, for the Canadians, or from what I've seen in their game, is that at times they can dominate play against the Americans. But then at other times, there's the needless penalties, there's the turnovers. And so 2 things. You know, you're looking at this event as a whole, and you go, okay, when we play our game, we can dominate. We can make good things happen. And then, you know, the flip side, just the consistency is not there. And part of that is, you know, the consistency on the Canadian side of things and what they're doing, but also in what the Americans are doing.
Another goal!
There you
Beautiful
go.
play with a backhand shelf goal up into the top corner by Kendall Coyne, and it's going to end at least 5-1 for the U.S. Just 17 seconds left. What a play by Coyne.
Again, there you go, and the inconsistency from the Canadians, and part of it, and due fact to how the Americans are playing. This is just a speed play. This is reminiscent of what the goal Connor McDavid scored earlier in the season in the NHL, except Connor McDavid went to the forehand, and you know, just the sheer speed of Kendall Coyne is so hard to defend, and to put a puck short side shelf as such as she did on her backhand is just something to marvel at. What a play, what a skilled play.
Well, today's game certainly didn't disappoint. We've got a...
If you're Canadian, it did.
The game's
Canadian viewers, it did.
The game,
yeah, right.
The game's in Tampa, Chris. I'm just, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to really give people a sense. We have a lot of Team USA chant. It's, usually you get that in a close game, but paying tribute to the women as they're going to wind up as the 2017 Four Nations Cup champs. On the flip side, I know you painted a bearish picture about this being devastating for the Canadians. They do know they've won the last 4 Olympic gold medals. They take a different approach to the Olympic run-up. This is a great group of ladies, and there's definitely the ingredients there to put together a winning recipe. They haven't quite settled on personnel, if you will. So tough loss today for Team Canada, but I don't think it's I don't think it's cause for panic. They've recently won a game in the prep game, prep for the Olympics 5-1 over the U.S. Today it's their turn. Red, white, and blue winners 5-1, champions of the Four Nations Cup.
Well, an opportunistic and playing a strong game. The Americans, when getting the opportunity to score, they buried it. And just a disappointment for the Canadian goaltender, Geneviève Lacasse. And she played a pretty good game, but on the other side of things, Maddie Rooney had a very, very strong game herself. So, do I have to make my predictions again?
I've got Brandon Augusta as players of the game. Take your pick, and we'll turn the audio over to the PA system.
I have to go with Hannah Brandt also. And for the Canadians, I'm going to go with Marie-Philippe Poulin.
I like Poulin. I love Sutton Youngblood type chemistry with Augusta. It was Augusta that got the goal, so I was torn between the two. I love the way Marie-Philippe Poulin played today.
Really quickly, if I could jump in, a really, really strong performance by Maddie Rooney in making some key saves at key times. Only 19 shots against, but some of those saves earlier in this game, it would have had a much different outcome if she wasn't able to make those saves.
Game much closer than the score indicates. Goes in the books as 5-1. It was really in doubt until middle of the third period when the U.S. pulled away. A couple power play goals late, really gives a skewed view. Jim Smith with some presentations. We'll turn the audio over to the PA system.
The player of the game for Team Canada is number 29, the captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin. And the player of the game for Team USA, number 20, Hannah Brandt.
Again,
totally
very accurate.
Myself.
Yes.
2 for 2.
Yes, that's excellent. So,
off day the other day. I was 0 for 2 a couple days ago that one game. So
you remember that, but yeah. I remember the other game where you correctly predicted both players of the game.
Come back strong. I had to come back strong.
Brandt and Poulin, players of the game. Canada runners-up in the Four Nations Cup. U.S. with a 5-1 win today. Any final thoughts before we sign off just about today's game, the tournament in general, or the run-up to the 2018 Winter Olympics?
I just think the final thoughts in this is that we have an American team that has a ton of speed and a ton of skill, and not necessarily a lot of size compared to the Canadians, but they play a full game and they don't get rattled. And there were times where Canada was all over them in zone time and possession, and they just kept with it and waited for their chances. And I'll tell you what, the ultimate definition of a counterpuncher where the other team's getting chances, the U.S. comes right back and scores. We saw that at the end of this game, the end of the period, and end of the second, and getting power plays. So, I think you're seeing a U.S. team that is feeling good, playing good, using their speed, using their skill. You see, and you get a Canadian team that's right there with them, but just didn't have the same consistency. So, it's going to be exciting. And every time these teams have played, I've said 2 games now, we've done together, and everyone I've talked to, I'm like, those were unreal games. This was a great game, and as you mentioned, maybe a little the score was lopsided, but the play itself not indicative of a 4-goal defeat. But what a great game! And some of the plays, and on the U.S. side of things, some of those goals scored at full speed. There's NHL players, John, that cannot make plays at that kind of speed. So really exciting what's going to happen in the lead up to the Olympics and the Olympics for women's hockey.
I enjoyed every minute of it. I think this is, as I've said throughout the week, the greatest rivalry going today in team sports. There's a lot of frequent meetings between the two, which maybe makes it a little different than an NHL or college football right now. It's Clemson and Alabama. They don't meet all that often, but these teams, familiar opponents, play each other over and over. Foes on the ice, friends off, as some of them play on professional teams together. U.S., stick tap, little celebration amongst each other, paying respects to the fans with the center ice hug right now. But, you know, I just think I think not enough people know about this rivalry. I was joking earlier this week, you know, we need a Trump tweet. We need a bet, you know, Trudeau putting up the maple syrup, you know, against
maple syrup. How about
Putin.
Putin.
What do we bet?
Canadian beverage.
Oh, yeah.
Made in Ontario or Saskatchewan.
Golson Molden versus Coors.
Golson. Oh, what's wrong with you?
So, anyway, you know, I really enjoyed every minute of the Four Nations Cup. I think women's Olympic level hockey is outstanding, and I don't think enough people outside of today's viewers know about it. So my goal, as the U.S. is going to have, you know, different mix to the team than most men's Olympics, not NHL players this year. You know, I just hope these ladies get the crowd size and the attention and the media focus that they deserve. Both sides, you know, women of Canada and the U.S. This is just an unbelievable rivalry, and, you know, it's nice. They got the little chalice right now, holding it up, taking pictures, but, you know, doesn't really matter, because what motivates these women is that Olympic gold medal that's been so elusive. And the minute they walk out of here, you know, hey, job well done, but you haven't even started yet, because it's all about the Olympics. If you're Team USA, this team is built to get the Olympic gold medal. They haven't won it since the first Olympics 20 years ago. And, you know, the Canadians, they're not going to part with it. They're not going to give it up. So, you know, that's to me just what makes it very, very exciting. I cannot wait to watch the Olympic Games from South Korea.
Yeah, very exciting. And, you know, just seeing the happiness on the faces of the American players, and it means something to them. It's not the Olympics, but it does mean something to them. And
played our game that we'd have a good chance of winning, and it was fun to have a huge support of Tampa here tonight.
A flag planter. She skated around the ice, probably 8 or 9 years old.
Great
You can find it on
job,
YouTube, but got to the center ice face-off spot and plants the state of Minnesota flag for the state of hockey at a Minnesota Wild game. And, you know, this is a girl that was born to play hockey, raised in, you know, Minnesota. Minneapolis would be the equivalent of Toronto in Canada. It's, you know, it's ground zero for the number of participants, the attention on hockey. And, you know, Hannah Brandt is really, from a very, very young age, you know, she's been a standout player, dreaming of greatness. Huge highlights today with a couple goals in the winning effort over Canada. But you just know she'd like to repeat that on the Olympic stage in a few months, because that's the highest level. You know, you've played 2 Stanley Cups. You've been a part of those teams. These women from the U.S. are really driven and motivated to try to get to the, you know, the summit at the top. And, you know, I can't wait. So, you know, congratulations, Hannah Brandt and everybody else. Want to thank you for your time. This has just been a blast doing the Four Nations Cup with you, adding your expert insight, and enjoyed every minute of it. So thanks for everything, Chris Dingman. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Just pleasure working with you, and it really opened a lot of people's eyes and opened my eyes to the speed and the skill of the women's hockey. And again, we played, you know, our Tampa Bay Lightning alumni, we played the U.S. women's team, and it was an eye-opener. It was really an eye-opener. I was really concerned we were going to get our butts absolutely demolished, get kicked. And, you know, again, the future is bright, and this is just a sample size. And, you know, another event, another tournament. It was a great put-on event here, and some great games. And, you know, obviously some of the other nations need to try and close the gap. But, you know, as far as USA hockey and North American hockey, these rivalries are great. That's what drives teams to be better and the players to be better, because you want to be the best. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that's what you have right now. So Canada's, you know, the USA is the best. They're the best right now. So Canada has to go back to the drawing board, and they want to knock them off. And that competitiveness and, you know, trying to best and beat each other, that's what this sport needs and has, and it's terrific. And, you know, I'm excited and leading forward to it. I can't wait for the Olympics.
They had some wonderful games here at an international competition level, and now they're going to continue their residency in Tampa. And, you know, I had a chance, I interviewed a short audio clip, but talked a little bit off air with Hensley. And I don't think you're done, because, you know, I could just see she was torn. You know, she was gutted that the game didn't go the way she wanted with the NHL alums. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's up to Hensley, you're going to get a chance
I
to
heard
play
they wanted to play again.
Oh, man, she just, you could just tell. She felt that she wanted another go-around. I know you said it was, you know, tied a good portion of the game.
I'm not playing again. I'm 1-0. That was way too hard.
Nothing.
I couldn't walk for 2 days. And then after the game, they're laughing. They're like, "Yeah, it was great." And half of us could barely walk. My age was showing. So.
And you're younger than Rika. You're younger than Rika Valela from the Finnish team. So anyway, I want to sign off. Time is now for us to leave. He's Chris Dingman. I'm John Conley. Thanks for everything.